Meeting order. This is our Ware County Board of Commissioners work session agenda. Before we start this meeting, I'm going to ask the chief if he would to come up and lead us in prayer before we start.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your goodness, your grace. Father, we thank you for, Lord, just being here for another year. And Lord, we pray that as this new year approaches us, Lord, that we would do things that would be pleasing to you as a community and as adults, Father God, that we would please you. Now let everything that we do in here today, Father, be pleasing to you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Please be seated. I'm going to do a roll call. Mr. Burst.
Present.
Mr. Tyndall.
Present.
Mr. Lucas.
Here.
Mr. Cox.
Present.
Cheers here. Okay. Now we have a guest speaker, Miss Jacqueline Shoemaker with Red Cross. Would you please come up?
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate your time. I'm Jackie Shoemaker. I'm Executive Director for what we call the South Central Chapter of the Red Cross. I cover 25 counties in South Central Georgia, and I reside in Valdosta. I have an office there in Valdosta, Georgia. The reason I'm here today is to share some services, just to review a little bit about what we provided last year, but some services that we're still providing after the hurricane to the county, and share some important dates for you. In the folder, the blue folders that were handed out, the first sheet is a summary of our services for last calendar year. Disasters were mainly home fires with a big hurricane in there too, so 16 home fire responses with one hurricane. For home fires, if you're not familiar, the Red Cross comes in with comfort kits, with blankets, with a card that we load with money. Depending on the family size, we put money for that family to use on whatever they need. If they needed to get into a hotel, if they don't have a family member to stay with, they basically can use it on whatever they want, with the exception of things like alcohol and firearms. It's whatever their needs are. We also will come back and load additional money if they've lost prescription drugs. We have a whole medical team that will call the pharmacy and say, yes, this person really needs the medicine again. I know they refilled it recently, but they lost it in a fire. And we'll load more money on the card for prescription drugs and for medical equipment. So if they need a wheelchair or other medical, we load more money on the card for that as well. We also, in connection to home fires, we have a free fire alarm program that we work with fire departments. And if they don't have a supply, we can supply more, and we even supply those for hearing and vision impaired. Those alarms can cost anywhere from $250 to $300, and we provide them free of charge upon request. I've been to an installation, and I'll tell you that it shakes the bed enough to wake somebody up. It's pretty, you can hear it shaking, and the lights are pretty large and very visible too. So we will provide those. In your county, we did quite a bit of blood drives, so thank you very much for that. We are still the nation's largest supplier of blood, supplying about 40% of the nation's blood supply. We trained 248 people last year in life-saving skills, and we did quite a bit of casework for the military here, handling 22 cases, providing 56 services to them. So we provide services to current active duty members as well as veterans. We can offer resiliency workshops to veterans and their caregivers, and again, that's all free of charge from us. For home fire prevention, we also offer classes into schools and organizations for preparing for fires, for hurricanes, for floods, for tornadoes. Home fire preparedness classes are free of charge. Also free of charge is a hands-only CPR, so you can get somebody used to at least doing the compressions. We can do that free of charge. I put together a flyer that I included. If you want to distribute this, I can also send it electronically. It tells the homeowner the number to call, 1-800-RED-CROSS. They can call if they've had a fire and they need our help. I've also included a couple home fire checklists for homeowners in both English and Spanish, and we can provide that to anybody that needs it. We can send electronic copies. The next couple of items are probably the most important that I'm most excited to share with you is our assistance for the hurricane is not over. We're rolling out a second wave of financial assistance, and we are having some caseworkers either in Ware County or Pierce County, so very close by here, at the very end of this month. And I don't have the exact location set yet, they're working on that, but it means that the folks that we may have missed in our original disaster assessments have the ability to come in and say, hey, we still need your help. And we can provide, review their case. It's based on their home being major structural damage or destroyed. If we had already reviewed their home and we have it in our damage assessment, they will already be receiving a message from us via email, text, and phone call saying, hey, we reviewed your house, we know you suffered major destroyed status, and it could be as easy as an electronic fund transfer for those folks. But other folks will have to meet with them. That's why we're setting up these couple of days at the end of the month for them to come in and be able to talk to our caseworkers and review their case. The second one is for any organizations in your community. They can actually apply for a grant from the Red Cross. We are offering some long-term recovery grants so that we can help communities build up their capacity for the next big storm. So we're accepting applications for that, and I included a sheet that is basically a photocopy of the website where they can go and click on and access the application. They can also watch some informational sessions so they can get information on it. But it's open to all 501c3 organizations that have been in business for at least 3 years, or church organizations. that have managed a budget of a minimum of $250,000. So we want someone that's capable of taking the money and be able to build their capacity. So those are very, very exciting to me. If you know of people, I will be sending you all the dates and the exact location for the bridge assistance. We call it bridge assistance at an additional amount that will be going out to your residents. I will be sending it out so we can make sure that it gets broadcasted to the community, and I'll also be sending it to folks like your United Way director, who happens to be in Valdosta, and Family Connections, and if you know of anyone else that will be good for me to send it to, I will send it to them as well. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you. Any of y'all got any questions?
I don't have a question, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to commend, what's your name again?
Jackie?
Jackie, for the work that the Red Cross does and helping families, and, you know, I hope I never need them, but I know they're there if we need it, if I need them. And I think about the different things that families go through, and house fires, which is devastating. And my mind reflects on LA right now, Los Angeles, and, you know, everything's gone. So we don't realize sometimes how blessed you are when you can go home and you're home there and, you know, not burn down anything like that. And you talked about the blood drives and all, and I just like to share this. You know, my wife was got very sick here a couple of years ago, and I thank God that I always gave blood, but when she needed, she had to have 34 units of blood. So it just reciprocated back, you know. So I'm glad of that, and, you know, we don't realize how blessed we are sometimes. So
Well,
I appreciate everything you all do.
I thank you for that. It makes me very proud to work for an organization. And just as we had people deploy here from all parts of the country to help feed in all of the counties that were affected, a tremendous amount of Georgia counties, we have Georgia people deployed to California right now. So we'll go wherever we're needed.
Right.
So thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Mr. Shoemaker, I was just wanting to say that, not necessarily anything to you, but just for those that are watching, those that are out there in the crowd, that I want to encourage everybody to donate blood.
Right.
That's the least you can do. It doesn't take
Right.
that much time. I try to donate as often as the calendar will let me, to donate it, but, it doesn't take long. It's not painful, you know. So I enjoy it, and it helps folks like Ms. Burse and others that are around. So just want to encourage everybody to, go out and give blood.
Well, thank you. And I included my business card with my cell phone number on there. I'm available to you anytime. I encourage you, if you feel comfortable sharing your cell phone, to just shoot me a text message, because when a hurricane hits, I do try to send out something in advance via email, but then the email's lost, and I won't be able to get a hold of you if I don't have, a cell phone number. So thank you so much.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Jackie,
Thank you,
I would
Jackie.
like to add that Ware County benefited greatly from Red Cross during the hurricanes, because I personally assisted, not dipping or anything, but with coordinating getting the meals, had to call contact drivers, make sure what time they were coming in, and they were bringing 500 meals at the time. They were coming from Valdosta twice a day for about 5 or 6 days. And people in the community, of course, had to get together and put the plates together, but it was very much appreciated.
Thank you.
So we even took plates to some people who were on duty, some of our public safety
Thank you.
that needed it.
Thank
So
you, Jackie, and keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you.
You're doing a good job. So thank you. Okay. We have,
Chairman and Commission, I'm going to bring up Mr. Frank Riley. I gave y'all a sheet
Yeah.
that I put on the thing, that we want to discuss the community wildfire defense grant.
Thank you, Chief Matter. Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing us to come here today to talk about a grant that you have, you probably don't know about, and it's the best kind of love. It doesn't cost you anything, and it's got money in it, so I think we can make y'all happy. I'm Frank Riley, Executive Director of the Chester T. Chattahoochee RC&D Council. I live in Hiawassee, Georgia. We work all over the state of Georgia for the Firewise program. We administer it for the whole state of Georgia, for the Georgia Forestry Commission. But today we're going to talk about Community Wildfire Defense Grant. A couple of years ago, Congress in all their wisdom gave the Forest Service $1 billion to create some plans for rural counties mostly that are in danger of wildfire, like California, but not that bad here. So they gave the Forest Service $1 billion for a 5-year program, $200 million a year for the whole country. So the first year, we applied for it, and there's some criteria you have to qualify, and Ware County qualifies. We've got Raven County the first year we just finished, and Mark will talk about that in just a minute. It's a community wildfire protection plan we write for you, for Chief Mudders and his people, to list the things that y'all need to reduce your wildfire risk. And it's mostly wildfire, prescribed burning, like we just talked about, Mr. Chairman. So we'll get into not many details, but we're gonna tell you briefly what it is, and we're here we don't cost you anything. The Forest Service pays us to do this. We awarded the grant, 2 years, or last year for Ware County, Emmanuel County, McIntosh County, Towns and Union. I got those plus Raven. And this year we're gonna apply for Clinch, Brantley, Charlton, and Emmanuel. So we're covering the swamp down here in South Georgia with these plans. And it's a detailed plan you're gonna get, and then after that, we can apply for the money to buy the stuff that you put in the plan. And I keep saying, this is your plan, not my plan, not Mark's plan. We're writing with your input, with Chief Mutter's input, it's wildfire prevention and protection. It's not fighting fires, not structural firefighters. It's wildland fire equipment. We can buy wildland fire equipment, we can buy UTVs for water tanks, we can buy chippers, we can buy mulchers. Let's move back up. You can buy that. It's federal money, it's federal equipment. And once we write this plan, they pay us to write the plan, then we'll write the other plan with you if you want us to apply for the money in your name. It'll be Ware County's application the second time around to apply for whatever we put in the plan to buy. It's 5 years. You got 5 years to spend it to buy the equipment. You can hire people, which I highly recommend. If you get a bunch of money to do something for 5 years, you gotta have somebody full-time managing that money, because otherwise, like in my county, every one of my counties if we give it a bunch of money, it'll just disappear if nobody's there to manage it. So that's part of the plan. You can hire people. I think we talked with Chief Meadows about doing that. He has some ideas on how we can make that work, and it won't cost you anything. This money is reimbursement. You spend the money, Forest Service will pay you back. It goes through the Georgia Forestry Commission from the Forest Service, and they pay us, and the next round, you'll be reimbursed for whatever you want to buy in this program. And I'm proud to say there's 6 in Georgia so far. We got 5 of them, so we're doing something right. Mark and I both been in the volunteer fire department for 20 plus years. Not anymore. I got tired of chasing ambulances, and so I retired, and he did too. So we know the scenario. We manage the Georgia Prescribed Fire Council and the Fire Watch program. So this is something we do, and Mark does a whole lot more than I do on that kind of stuff. So he's gonna come up here and talk to you about what he does. He's the contractor for the grant. I contracted him. And we back up. The RC&D, we're a nonprofit. There's 11 of us in Georgia. There's something covered down here that we do community outreach. We do NRCS grants. We do Forestry Commission grants. We do soil and water grants and Forest Service. And this is just one of them. But we had to apply for it, and it's competitive out of the whole United States. I'm proud to say what we've done here. We've got 5 or 6 in Georgia to write these plans. So this part, Ware County's done. All we've got to do is finish the plan and give it to you. Next year, we'll go back and apply for the money to buy what's put in here. So we'll have a wish list, and it's pretty deep. You can go way, way, way high on stuff you want to buy, like UTVs, and they don't let you buy trucks necessarily or equipment like that. And it's federal money, so you have to keep that chipper till the bag is $5,000. Y'all know how that federal money stuff works. So that's what this is going to be. But the next round to buy stuff will be your grant, not mine. Which is help you with it if you want us to. So, it's called Community Wildfire Defense Grant, and Mark Wiles come up, and he's retired from the Forestry Commission. He leads wildfire prevention teams out west. He needs to be out in Los Angeles right now doing something. You know, with 100 mile an hour winds, there's nothing anybody can say, get out of the way, you know? That's right. Yeah. And that's the problem. They all live in that kind of tinderbox, and we don't have so close together. What do you expect, you know? So Mark Wiles is gonna talk about the plan. He actually does the on the ground work. He and I both do, but he does the majority of it. Mark,
Okay.
He has an example here, he's gonna show you this on Reagan County.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Like Frank said, I worked with Forestry Commission since 1981. Retired, worked out west on a lot of different fires in California, Washington, Oregon. And this grant was to address wildfire issues in areas that are at high risk, hopefully to reduce the risk when a wildfire occurs, so that it makes it easier for us to suppress, and it saves homes and it saves lives. So in order to qualify for the Community Wildfire Defense Grant to purchase equipment or to hire people or acquire services, you have to have a plan. The government wants you to have a plan. So this plan was created for Raven County. What we will do is survey the entire county. And with the help of the fire departments, who already are familiar with their districts and they know the areas of high concern, we'll go in, we take a look at all those areas, and we'll write a prescription on how to reduce the risk in those communities, whether it's hiring contractors or buying dozers to help reduce the risk, or mulching in areas, herbicide applications may or may not be an option for y'all, hiring people to educate the public. Just to let people know what the major cause of wildfire is, and y'all probably know what it is here in Georgia, is debris burning. You know, 89% of the fires that we have across this nation are caused by people, so they are preventable. Usually when the swamp catches on fire, though, it's typically from lightning. At least that's been my experience over the years. So do you have high-risk areas? Absolutely. You know, I can remember working here. We had the largest fire in the state of Georgia right here around the Okefenokee, between Charlton, Clinch, and Ware counties. So the risk is high. The ability for you to get the money is great, simply for your fire history in the past, the fact that you were approved for a plan writing. And so I'm very optimistic that you will get the money. We just have to think about the things that, what we recommend and what you guys would like to see as part of that plan, along with the chief, who is very familiar with the situation out there. So, any questions for Frank or myself?
No, sir.
When's the next big fire in the Okefenokee? There's
Only-
plenty of water out there right now, but
Only God knows that.
Well, right now, we got so many beavers that stopped up all the creeks, so the water is plentiful now. We don't,
but that'll change, as you know.
our creeks is full.
You know, there's been a lot of criticism over what's going on out in Los Angeles County right now, but
Yeah.
when you have 100-mile-an-hour winds and the humidity's as low as they are there, and the type of fuel that they got, there is absolutely no way that any fire department in the world could save them. So, hopefully that'll never happen here. We say it can happen in the southeast, but you look at Gatlinburg, Tennessee, with 2,800 structures on fire at one time, so the potential is there. So we hope to maybe educate folks and to get enough equipment and enough knowledge to be able to hopefully avoid that in this area.
In '07, I guess, was the worst fire.
That was the worst.
That was
The worst.
I spent a lot of time here.
Yeah,
Thought I lived here for a while.
yeah.
You can come back.
I thought my wife was gonna make me stay here. All right, so we look forward, we'll be seeing you guys around. It'll take a while to put this
Okay.
together.
All right,
Thank
It's a
y'all.
process.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Chief. Okay, now, Miss Erica Stanbridge with the library, would you please come up?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
My name is Erica Stenbridge. I'm the library director at the Okefenokee Regional Library System. I spoke at a couple of meetings last year, but since then we have a couple of new commissioners that have been elected. I look forward to working with you both, Mr. Cox and Mr. Tyndall, as well as continuing to work with Mr. Thrift, Mr. Burse, and Mr. Lucas. On April 8th last year, I made a request to proceed with the library renovation plan for the Waycross Ware County Public Library that had previously been delayed due to the COVID pandemic in 2020. At that time, it was voted that we could proceed with a match from the county. And I'd like to say again, thank you so much for your support for that match. At a later meeting in June, it was voted to hire Mr. Richard Sasser as the architect for the plan. Our library renovation committee has met with Mr. Sasser at least 3 times so far, and we're very thankful to have him as part of the project. He's doing a great job. The latest message I received from him earlier this month was that he's finalizing the plans and will want to meet again with the committee later this month or early February. The new plan, which I brought with me, is just a rough draft. It includes single-stall restrooms in the lobby, a counter with device plug-in capability in the children's section and the adult section. The circulation desk will be moved to the current sitting area, and then the current area behind the circulation desk will be a storage area. And finally, the biggest change will be an addition of a community kitchen / program room that will be a teaching space for UGA extension classes, cooking programs, canning classes, and outreach. And as I said, I brought the rough draft with me if you'd like to view it after the meeting. Again, thank you very much for your support. It's appreciated by me, the Library Board of Trustees, and the library staff.
Thank you for the great
Thank
work
you,
you're
Ms.
doing.
Dunn. Y'all have any questions?
Yeah. Appreciate you coming.
I just said thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay. Anything else?
I think that's all we got.
Okay, let's go on to the agenda items. The ordinance,
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Before we haven't approved the agenda yet, have we? I did.
no,
Nothing in here, so I didn't.
Do we need to add, anything about this House Bill 581 discussion?
They're going
Need to add that to the
talk about
agenda?
it. Not to the agenda, they just gonna.
On here?
on it.
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I'm glad
Let
it
them
was
talk
back
about
there.
it. If we need to, we can add it to the regular meeting agenda. If we
Okay,
need
to the regular meeting agenda?
If you're
Okay.
gonna take any kind of vote, we can add it to the regular meeting.
So what now?
Probably need to.
If you're gonna add it, if you're gonna take a vote, I can add it to the regular meeting.
Okay, good.
Move it forward to that.
Do you want to ask
Do you want them to speak now?
Roger something now on it? I kind of want to do.
Well, I just want to hear, you know, I mean, they pretty much came and talked to us about it, and, I know we're getting crunched for time right now as far as when we got to, if we're gonna opt out, we need to do it, and we run on short string right now as far as the time. So that's why I'm wanting to, if they wanna say something now at the regular meeting or whatever, but I think we need to either vote it up or down, whether we're gonna opt in or opt out, you know. And whether if we opt in, we don't have to do anything, but we opt out, we're gonna have to take a vote on it.
We have to have the public meetings, so they won't.
Right.
If we
About
if we
3
decide to move forward, opt out.
So I think procedurally, if the question is, if you all would like to amend the agenda to have it formally on the agenda in the work session to be discussed, of course, we wouldn't take a vote during this work session, but certainly we could have a motion right now to amend the agenda and have that as an actual item. In the alternative, also just, you know, they could come up and speak, you know, right now still during the comments if you like. But I think what the interim county manager was mentioning is that if, right after this work session, we'll have the called meeting. And so then, which we're calling the regular meeting because we moved from Monday to today, but technically it is the rescheduled regular meeting, which is now a called meeting today, but it will be right after this meeting. And so then you all can add it to that agenda, and that would be the time not to take, if you decide that you do intend to opt out, we wouldn't be taking a vote to opt out today. We would simply be taking a motion to begin the process to go through the advertisements, the public hearings, and all that's required, that then later you could take a vote to opt out.
Okay, we could call Roger up if we want to then and
Sure.
ask him. Roger, would you come up?
I think we're
I
on
would
the time
ask you.
crunch on that too, ain't we? Ain't we on the time crunch on that?
Yeah. We
Yes.
have, I mean,
March
it's
1st.
real close.
Well,
March 1st, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be.
But I think they might have an extension on it.
But this is the
I mean,
one that
I've heard
Roger
it
said
made,
leave,
but we don't
because
know.
we
he
got,
wants to opt out,
Right.
right?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Roger.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
How you doing?
I'm doing. Yesterday was the tax deadline, today's the day recovery. So,
Do we really want to opt out?
it makes the most sense, because this is now, let me say this. The legislature, what the people voted on is a good idea. It's good for the counties and the cities that do not have a freeze, the way Ware County does. Our freeze exceeds the homestead that just passed with the state, because what they're adjusting that on is $2,000 off an adjusted adjusted fair market value. It's not a frozen value like ours is. Ours will exceed that far and away every bit, every time. There's no sense in putting more work on assessors. They keep track of additional numbers when they don't need it. It's not gonna serve the purpose to the taxpayers. And let me say this, to make this perfectly clear to the people at home. I am a taxpayer of Ware County. I am for the best thing for the taxpayers of Ware County. It suits, it fits me. This homestead that is gonna benefit the likes of Clinch County, Atkinson County, Coffee County, but there is not going to benefit Ware County residents at all. Our homestead, our freeze that was put in by Boggs, it passed in 2001, it was implemented in 2002, and then the freezes for the city and the school was done in 2007, went in 2008. That far exceeds this floating homestead on the index that the legislators approved. There's a floating local option sales tax. And they said that if you opt out, you're not eligible. That is unless you have a floating homestead. That's what they consider our freezes. But where the misnomer that we can't get it is usually cities do not have homesteads. They do not have it. Our city does not have a homestead, but they have a freeze. That's considered a floating homestead. They were put in that, and they're stuck. And unless somebody wants to repeal that freeze, which if you want to repeal it, I don't think you want your job, because you'll be ran out of the county. But if we pass this, if we stay in it, we're gonna cause assessors more work. They've already got more work coming with having to do mandatory reappraisals every 3 years. And they got to have qualified people and more people, and they got to keep track of a fourth number instead of tracking the 3 that they're doing now, where most counties are only doing the fair market value. And when this goes into effect in these other counties, they're only going to have to track 2, fair market value and fair market value with the index, and that's it. Our assessor is doing twice the work, and it makes no sense at all to do that when it's not going to benefit Ware County residents at all.
So we got the best plan, excuse me, Chairman. We got the best plan that we could have right now, in your opinion, and the people that you spoke to.
That's, in my opinion, the Department of Revenue, ACCG, and GMA.
Okay.
So I know you went to a meeting Monday, and it's, what, your second or third meeting that you've had with the large groups about these
Yes.
things? And I know one of the questions that I had is that, is there and I guess it's hard to say, a guarantee that if we opt out of this, that we'll be eligible for the floss?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So because we talked about this earlier, and
I've
you've
already-
gotten some
I've
hardcore
talked to them,
information.
and I'm waiting on the emails that come in from the Department of Revenue, ACCG,
Okay,
that we're guaranteed.
right,
That's because our city has a freeze also.
Right. All right, another question. Let's just say that we decide to do nothing and stay in it. Where do the valuations come from at that point? Are they the valuations that are currently on the properties, or are they gonna have new valuations that get done? To get the number that the state's gonna tax on?
The base year is considered the 2024 values.
Okay,
That's gonna be the 2025 base. And then the index, which is gonna come out, they've already got the CPI index number, but they haven't released it yet, and they plan on doing that by the end of January. That's gonna be roughly 3%. So, wind gap, and you, Billy, this is more up your line, but, the wind gap's gonna be updated, so they're gonna have to keep track of it, a separate number with that.
Right. So like, this year my house got reevaluated or reappraised or what have you, and
Yes.
obviously the appraisal amount went up, but then you look over and my taxable amount that all the numbers are based on is way lower than that.
Yes.
So if we were to go to this thing and stay in it, that's gonna all change, right?
No, it's not, you're always gonna have that frozen value.
No, if we stay in this,
If you stay in it, we're always still gonna have.
we're always still gonna
gonna
have that
stay,
frozen value, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
we-
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm saying it makes no sense to us to
Yeah,
stay.
so it's just, it's not
They
gonna do
always say,
anything for us.
well, you get the better of the two. The better of the two is always gonna be our freeze.
Yeah, and I think you told me
It's
that,
always gonna be our freeze.
I think you told me that if for some reason that advantage changes, that we can get back in.
Yeah, you can get back in, you just do
Right.
local legislation and adopt the same
Yeah,
thing.
but it's doubtful it's gonna get better than what we got.
Oh, it's very doubtful.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Yeah, go
If I
ahead.
may, and, we've had Roger up here, Billy, and I've dialogued with them back into, and I think when Commissioner Lucas and I were up in, Athens, I believe it was, they had classes, I went to everything pertaining to House Bill 581, because I wanted to know everything about it, wanted to make sure I got all the information so that I could disseminate that to any constituents that want to know the best I could. So with that being said, the consensus was, just like you and Billy said, we're in the best position right now.
Yes,
We're in the best position, and the thing that I had concerns about was, okay, if we opt out, would we be able to, put a referendum on the ballot for the floss tax? But, and and I don't know why, I don't know if they do that by design or not. When they create these bills, they kind of make it somewhat kind of confusing, and it makes it kind of, you read it and you got to keep going and read it 5 and 6 times, and then after a while it starts coming through, So, and that was one of the concerns that I had. And we'll talk a little bit more about the floss as we get past this, about how it can benefit the homeowners, property owners.
well,
in Ware County.
I can tell you how it's gonna benefit the homeowners, and it's not just homeowners. It's gonna benefit everybody, the floss does.
Okay,
So the sales tax that y'all receive for the lost, the city of Ware, the county was 4.757 mills that was rolled off your millage rate.
right,
That's what got you the 11.736.
right.
So, let's say for instance, this was the first year and we had lost. That 4.757 would have come off that 11.736, and the millage rate would have been 6.979.
Which would mean you'll pay a lot less.
Nearly cut it in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut it in half.
So, to make things even better, the city's numbers. Their millage rate is, if I can see that for, I'm getting a little old, 8.748 currently. They had a rollback from their loss of 8.125. So if that was in play this year, their millage rate would have been 0.623 property taxes.
Almost zero.
Yeah, that's almost nothing
Wow.
on property taxes. And that is everybody in the city.
Right.
Commercial, industrial, it does not matter. Those rollbacks is off of everybody's taxes.
And I know on the floss tax, if it were passed and everything, it's not set to the set amount other than you can go from 0.05 in increments up to what, 1%?
1%.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
you go from a half penny up to 1 penny.
right. So, and you know, to me, I always say that like the splash tax, it's one of the most fairest taxes there because only time you pay that tax when you buy. But the beauty of this is that, and it's been documented that most time with a splash tax, when any community have it, most time 45 to maybe 50% is coming from outside of your community, people that come in and shop. So that's the beauty of it. And if this floss type were implemented and passed, can you just go just a little bit more into that, Roger, about what that floss tax, if it say hypothetically, floss tax passed and Ware County's collecting it, this money will only be going into one pocket. It's for property tax.
Property tax only.
Right.
As for property tax only, rollback. And instead of that, and that's done from the previous year. So, I get the numbers, I'll get the numbers here in a couple of weeks for 24, the rollback, the 25 taxes. So that's the previous year. So you're gonna get, those taxes, you get sales tax monthly. So instead of just wait for like one time and getting it, you're already getting that, receiving that. You're gonna receive that yearly, monthly the year before. And then next year, it just continues on. It's a 5-year, the floss is for 5 years, and then you gotta
Right.
Vote on it again.
Well, I can't thank you and Bill enough for taking up the time, because I know y'all probably got tired of me coming to the office, calling, because again, like I said, I know you are a taxpayer, but we all want to do what is best for the taxpayers of this county and city.
But
you know.
that's what, there's a misnomer, everybody thinks, there's some uneducated people who think that I make a commission off of what's collected. And I don't. My salary is set by the state, and that's it. It does not, I prefer to pay less taxes than I have, that I can. And I'm no different than anybody else. So I believe in doing the best thing for the taxpayers and doing the right thing, because I'm doing the right thing for myself along with everybody else.
So if we opt out, we can
We
do
good.
that. with the-
Yes, we can do that.
But if
and
we
can-
stay in, we can't do that.
No, if you stay in, we can still do it, the sales tax, but it's gonna put more work on assessors. And for no reason,
For no reason.
Because
for absolutely no reason.
we've already got the best deal anyway.
Yeah.
I've been told that there's not an opt out.
Well,
Bye.
so, I think I'm pretty sure of who told you that. And I've had a discussion with that young man on Monday night. Because he neglected to call myself or Billy Carter concerning this. Because he told me, he said, I know where you stand. I said, where do we stand? Well, you want us to opt out? I said, I do. Well, why? And I told him, you're causing the assessors more work, and our freeze will always be better than anything the state has to offer. And it's far and away better than this. And he said to me, he said, GMA and ECCG don't think so. They don't think that, what about the floss? I said, we're eligible for it. He said, no, we're not. I said, we are. But what he's looking at is, he's also representing another county and a town that, he's got one city in a county that's going to opt out. They don't have homesteads. Cities do not have homesteads. Ours has a freeze. It wasn't by design. It wasn't the city didn't want it, but our representative at the time, he had it passed. And that's the same way with the school. He wanted those two entities to have the same thing that the county was having to go through. And after I got through, he was kind of stunned. He said,
Okay.
we'll talk about it a little bit later on. I said, well, I'm just telling you, you don't know what you're talking about, because ACCG and GMA and the Department of Revenue was at a meeting up in Atlanta, and they all said, without a doubt, Ware County should opt out, because this will never be better than anything y'all have.
Well, that's the information I got also.
And
That's what I got.
there's roughly 30 counties. I think there's 30 or 37. It's in the 30s of counties that actually have freeze. And there's a lot of them that's opting out.
Yeah.
Because it's just more work that's unnecessary.
Okay.
I'll say
Roger,
put it on the
so
agenda.
when it comes to this floss that we can put on the referendum, I know a lot of times people are real sketchy about putting another penny on our sales tax, because obviously we remember the nightmare from whenever we had 9-cent sales tax, and it was
Yes,
like
Lord.
I had several calls, people telling me that we're driving business out of Waycross and everything. Can you tell me what you told me the other day about our sales tax and our
Yeah.
sales and stuff that happened
The
in Ware
sales
County?
tax, when it went to 9%, and everybody was upset, and everybody was talking about, everybody's leaving Waycross, leaving Ware County, and spending their money somewhere else. That was untrue. Our sales tax, the lost penny, went up every single year, and it has continued to grow every single year. The whole time, whole 5 years, it was 9%. Every year, it grew. People were spending, they were spending money like crazy. And they're like, well, I'm gonna go to Brunswick, I'm gonna go to, well, you can spend more money in gas and do all that stuff to save a couple pennies. But there was a lot of people that was coming in Waycross that was spending it.
Yeah, so, because sales tax here is great, because I don't know if everybody understands this, but the city of Waycross's population is what, about 14,000?
Yeah.
That's bedroom time. During the daytime work session, we're at around 50,000 population in the
Well,
city.
that was. a
Or
few years ago.
estimation, yeah, yeah. And
There's
that
more than
number
that.
could be way up from there.
Yeah, there's more than that that's here. We've got more people living in Ware County than what they're saying, the 36,000.
Yeah.
But the census, these people didn't answer the doors, they went, they don't like talking to government. But I know, Ms. Schubert tell you, people building houses. There's people coming in and doing title work that's moving from Atlanta. Moving from Atlanta, moving from Florida, Alabama, New York, New Jersey. We getting people moving like crazy. Like crazy. But they still saying, oh, we got a low population. Our streets don't say that.
Right.
Cars don't say that.
Taxes don't show that.
Taxes don't show
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
So,
The county is increasing there.
but
County.
I'm every year, it does, that 9% never hurt Ware County. Everybody, those taxes were increased. Your sales tax that you got from the loss increased.
And that's why I think it's gonna be so very crucial that if we vote to opt out, and we have these hearings and everything, to try to educate everyone, to let them know
Yes.
exactly what it is. Because you're gonna have a lot of people out there, the naysayers, and you
Right.
do this right here, but that's the thing. For whenever we have these public hearings, to really try to address these people and put it in layman's term the way they can really understand it, what we're talking about.
Well, it's like this, and I don't like saying what I voted for, yes or no, or whatever, but I voted for it. I voted for it because it was good for the other counties.
Right.
I already had an idea of where it was gonna affect us. But it was good for the Clinton County, the Charlton County, the Atkinson, Coffee, all these counties don't have freezes. It's good for the taxpayers.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Okay.
Does the city have to vote to opt out on it
Yes,
too?
the city has to vote, and
The school board
from what
too?
the school board's currently, they held their first meeting on Monday. They're advertising for their second meeting already. And they're gonna opt out, but they're under the same thing. All schools, just about all schools in the state of Georgia is opting out. and for various reasons. In Ware County, the school is just like the county, just like the city. They're froze. Their homestead values are frozen. It doesn't matter if they opt in, if they stay in or opt out as far as the taxable value, what's best for the taxes. It's gonna come off the freeze.
So,
But like I said, it's just causing the assessors to do more work.
so if we opt out, it's not gonna affect the taxpayers in any kind of way?
No, it's not.
Or stay in, it won't.
Won't affect them either way.
No, it won't affect them either way. It'll just affect our
Employees work.
employees and honestly, I mean, it may affect our budget for all the work that they're going to have to do with that and with revals and all that stuff at the same time.
Overtime.
So,
So I'm sitting here thinking, reading about this thing, you know, listening to everybody talk about it, is that if the state, whenever they wrote this bill, if they didn't think that there was a better option out there, then they wouldn't have given us an option to opt out of it, to stay
Right.
with what you got. And so it makes sense that if we've got the option to opt out of it, then there's somebody that was writing this thing knew that there are gonna be some counties out there that are not gonna benefit from this.
right. And that's the whole thing. We're not benefiting at all.
Right.
The taxpayers are not benefiting.
Okay.
Now,
Good.
like I said, if y'all want to get with the legislators and repeal the freeze and all that stuff, you know, that's on y'all, I'll say that, but, then it'll benefit the taxpayers that way, but it's not gonna benefit them when we have a freeze.
And at the end of the day, you'll still probably see a increase, because by reducing your millage and your taxes, that's just gonna make it more attractive for development, for commercial and residential.
That's right.
That also makes it, you know, more feasible with the interest rates for couples to buy more expensive houses, because they're not having to pay that extra money in escrows.
I say we put it on the agenda, Chairman.
Okay.
Put it on the agenda for the meeting. Let's go ahead and vote it down.
Yeah. All right,
Y'all
Roger,
have any more
appreciate it.
questions?
No, sir.
You did good, Roger.
Thank you,
Done
Roger.
good.
All right.
You get a raise.
Yeah.
Council, what we need to do, put it on, I make a motion to put it on the agenda.
Just add it to the meeting agenda for this evening, and then we'll have a motion.
Have a motion on it, okay. You do that. Great. Okay. All right, let's go on to the agenda items. Ordinance 2025-3 to decrease the maximum speed limit on the Fulford Road. Mr. Jason, have you checked into that, on that? Is everybody satisfied with lowering that? How about the stop signs too?
Mr. Chairman, if y'all do recall, when I first came and presented this to you, I had recommended putting a four-way stop at the intersection of Industrial Boulevard
Right.
and Fulford Road, because I think just changing the speed limit to 35 will only
Take care
put a
of that.
sign up for those that are obeying the law. If you put a four-way stop there where if you're coming off of Industrial Boulevard from where Clayton Homes is, Sherrod Vans, Trucks and Vans, those big trucks, when they're trying to make that right-hand turn to get over to Scapa Road, there's a blind intersection in the old Champion building, and, because there's a big tree there, kind of a real sharp corner. So there are cars coming around that corner pretty hard, and when you're taking one of those mobile homes or a large truck with several other trucks, there have been a couple of accidents there over the last several years. The day that I brought it to y'all, there was actually an accident that day, fortunately no injuries. But I do feel that a four-way stop plus the reduction of speed from 45 to 35 would be warranted, because the section from Industrial Boulevard and Fulford Road to Scapa Road, that's the only area that I can tell within the industrial park that is actually posted at 45 miles an hour. Everything else is posted at 35 or less. But I do think that it needs to be incorporated with a four-way stop as well.
I agree with you. Because I agree that dropping it down to 35 and putting up new signs is just gonna give people new signs to look at when they're driving 55.
Yeah.
They're not gonna slow down because of a sign.
And with Carolina Skiff, they're actually taking rolling stock back and forth between the two plants. And people are not paying any attention to those crosswalks that are there that they're using. Every morning, I drive around the industrial park looking, and every morning, it never fails. People are not stopping at those crosswalks when those people are either walking across or transversing across with forklifts or other equipment.
Don't they have flashing lights at those?
They did have, but
They
the
did,
storm
they don't
took care of those.
Okay, so that would be something that whoever is
We need to
responsible for needs to
reinstall those as well.
reinstall those
I thought
flashing lights.
Carolina Skiff paid and had those put in.
They did, but they should not have because it was in the county right of way.
Okay, so if we fix them, we pay to get them fixed, they become ours.
Correct.
Okay.
I think, Mr.
I
Chairman.
got one thing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Burke.
No, I was just gonna say that, in addition to the speed limit sign, because that's not gonna slow them down, but that four-way stop, it will.
It will.
And that's, to me, that would be a very inexpensive fix to solve a big problem, because this right there, just put the four-way stop there and reduce the speed limit out.
I mean, you've already got stop signs on two sides, put two more stops with stop bars and possibly even rumble strips coming from Keene Drive to the four-way stop intersection may not be a bad idea either, because you've got the railroad tracks coming from Scapa over to Fulford, so you probably don't need rumble strips there. But you may want to, in the future, look at rumble strips if it is an issue continuing on.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Got something? In, you know, my experience and what I did forever, I think all those roads are four-way roads. I mean, they're four-lane roads. And there's two of them that are five-lane because they have a turn lane in them. To me, putting four-way stops up by themselves, even with the speed limit signs, why don't we incorporate some flashing red lights? Because we are telling them to stop, and red is a signal to stop. Because you got 5 lanes on two of those roads, you got 5 lanes. And they're not gonna pay attention to.
So you've got, on Fulford Road, it's double lane from Scapa until you get to the intersection of Industrial Boulevard, then you're forced to make the right-hand turn.
Yeah,
It's a single lane road from Keene Drive until you cross the road tracks, then it becomes till you cross Industrial Boulevard, then it becomes double lane going to the west.
and a turn lane.
And turn lane.
So that's 5.
So, you know, I will say from my previous experience, in Pierce County, when we implemented new stop signs, we did put LED flashing red lights on top of those signs. And we even, in certain areas, like on Hacklebarney Road and, Ware Street Extension, we actually put double stop signs on each side, to increase awareness. But you had 2 highways that were pretty high rate of speed as well, so.
Right.
Go ahead.
I would say let's put the red lights with them. I mean, we're just beefing up our safety. You know, we're beefing up the people's safety. And it's not gonna cost anything if they're solar. I mean, once you purchase them, they're solar, you don't pay anything else.
I talked to some of them out there that had some businesses, and they said, well, we've got a lot of interference there now, you know, with the crosswalk, the railroad track, and then a stop sign. You know, so you're gonna interfere with some traffic a little bit, and to me, I don't know if we really wanna do all this.
If you don't, now, I'll go ahead
I
and.
can see slowing it down to 35.
But if you have a four-way stop, if there's a train blocking that intersection, right now, they're also blocking Industrial Boulevard and everything, waiting on that train.
Yeah.
If you've got a four-way stop right there, they're gonna stop at the stop sign, and Industrial Boulevard, north and south, will still be
Going.
able to go. They'll stop and then continue to go while that train is sitting there.
Yeah.
And so those tractor trailers and everything from Clayton Homes and Sherrod Customs, they could still go on down to Albany Avenue if they wanted to and make the right-hand turn to access Highway 82.
But if you're going out, you know, you got the stop sign, railroad track, and the crosswalk. They're all right together.
But nobody's stopping at the crosswalk.
If it was, they're not there's not a sign at the crosswalk, I don't think now, are they?
Now, the storm took care of
Yeah.
that. But like I said, you're also addressing the concern of a blind intersection when you've got tractor trailers pulling mobile homes that have to make those wide turns. And you've got trucks pulling high-end vehicles out of the industrial park as well, trying to make that turn and trying to protect those people plus the ones that are coming through that blind intersection.
Okay. So what I want to get this clear now. So you're suggesting that we put the stop signs up and slow it down to 35?
I am recommending that we do a four-way stop at Fulford and Industrial and 35 mile an hour.
Okay. Y'all clear with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now
I'm
the,
recommending the red lights.
the ordinance here is just for lowering the speed limit. Will we'll have to adjust the ordinance to be able to add the stop signs?
Well, we weren't aware of the request for the stop sign, so it was just drafted based on the language, but if it is the commission's desire and direction, then, we will revise to include the stop sign also.
Yeah, because he did, when he made his initial appeal for this, he did mention about the four-way stop there also.
Okay.
Now,
And
the light, you're talking about putting the
He's
solar
wrong.
light up there on top of the stop sign?
Yes, sir.
solar, is solar lights on the stop signs?
That's up to the commission if y'all want to do that or not, but at
They're
night
very
time,
expensive.
I know, I think most time it's a lot of them, even in the city and some in the county where they're starting to do that. And really, you can see that from a long way off too.
You can.
Yeah.
Especially when it's as dark as it is there. And you got two of those, I know the one coming from Carolina Skid and the ones that come out of where, the trailer plant is down there. There's no island or median in the middle.
Right.
But the one coming from Albany Avenue, there's an island there. So I would say put a stop sign on both sides of that road. You know what I'm saying?
in the median and on the side.
Yeah.
I would also make sure that when you're putting that stop sign over by the water tower, heading south on Industrial Boulevard, making sure it's
In a spot that it's not
in a
gonna get
spot
run
that
over?
a tractor trailer's not gonna clip it when
Yeah.
they're making that right hand turn.
Move it back some.
Chairman, I got something I'd like to say about that. I used to drive through there every day, and when you come to that crosswalk and stop, you'll be stopped there, and the people begins to walk out. Well, here comes a car in this other lane. I have seen people have to run and hit the ditch. It got so bad, I started going around by Simmons to go to work. So, but that is a very dangerous place right there, so.
And I had early conversations with those industries about trying to make a left-hand turn out of Sherrod, right-hand turn out of Clayton. But when biomass is doing their transfers, CSX is transferring the cars with biomass, that can be stopped up for 30 minutes up to 2 hours, depending on what's going on. So that hinders logistics of those companies.
Okay.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jason. Let's put that one on. Okay, let's go on to B. The resolution for 2025-04, selection of the CDBG engineer.
All right, this one, this resolution is just to authorize the selection for the 2025 CDBG project that we're in the process of applying for. And this is why I wrote this up, using score sheets mandated by the state of Georgia. We had a team that consisted of Chairman Thrift, Commissioner Lucas, Planning and Codes Director Schubert, and two former commissioners, Pope and Hendricks, who scored all engineering firms that submitted bids. Then these sheets were sent over to Southern Georgia Regional Commission, and the staff there tabulated the scores, and statewide engineering received the highest score by a few points.
Okay.
So that's all that's for, is just to approve them.
Who were the other engineering firms that were listed?
There was
Hofstadter.
Kleinfeld,
Wasn't it Hofstadter?
somebody in Cooper,
Hofstadter.
Hofstadter, and T.R. Long, and
T.R.
one other.
Carter and Sloop.
Carter and Sloop was
Yes,
the
sir.
second
Carter,
one.
Sloop.
I think there were maybe those five.
5.
So,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, what the CDBG that we're gonna be, what would this be used at?
it's Deerfield Road and Pines up the drive. It's out at Josephine Park area.
in the Josephine Park area, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. it's
I
in
can't
that.
think, cause it's two,
If
there's
it
two roads that are
qualifies.
similar, like Pine, maybe Deerfield Road and Pine Forest.
So this would be
Drive,
for
I
what,
think.
like
It's
infrastructure?
for paving and drainage, yes, sir.
Paving and drainage.
Because they have two really bad roads, the mail, school buses, everybody had issues with it.
Okay.
So
Wasn't some
it's
of
kind
it-
of like,
Some of it kind of set aside for the subdivision that was there?
well, I mean, it's kind of like a.
Like a circle kind of?
Circular or more of a square, yeah, where they interconnect.
And this is a qualifying area
Oh, yeah.
for the CDBG?
Oh, yeah.
We don't have the area. Have you got a map of the area that would qualify?
I can get you one from Ella, I'm sure. from
You wanna
the-
see one?
I can show you the area.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing
Yeah,
where
I'll
it's
get
gonna
it for
be.
you.
Yeah.
It's,
But I know there's
I'd
certain
like to see one.
qualifications or criteria that has to be met.
Yeah,
It's out, US 82 west, east,
yeah.
Josephine Park Road.
Just before you get to, Green Line.
Head south on Josephine Park Road, Deerwood, it's not Deerfield, it's Deerwood.
Deerwood, I
Yep,
couldn't
I know
remember
what
that.
you're talking about.
Deerwood and Pine
Yeah.
Forest, and I
Yeah.
think they run back to, Strickland.
Okay, I know what you're talking
Some
about.
of those roads are
Something
paved
about
out there, I
certain
think.
income
Only trail.
levels and
Yeah, it's,
stuff like that.
there's some of the criteria is in
Right,
there.
right.
All right,
He can pull a map real quick if you want us to,
okay.
just to show you
Yeah.
the area.
Just a small map of what.
Yeah, I think he's gonna put it on the map.
Okay, we'll see it. Let's go ahead then.
I forgot to change that.
Yeah, we can get the map later on.
We'll put this on the
I did.
agenda.
I already did.
All right, let's go to C, Resolution 2025-05.
It should be 04. I did not give y'all the updated one where I had to correct those numbers, but you'll have it on the next. I'm gonna go ahead and explain a little bit on this on the rec board.
Recreation Board.
And in the back of your books, I did put the updated, recreation bylaws, where we took out about, people on the board not being related to actual commission, but that they actually, you can appoint somebody who is related to somebody on the commission. However, people serving on the rec board cannot be related to each other. So that was the only correction that was made on that. But this is to make the appointments. And there was a question about the names that were here. So I went back and listened to the meeting, and I just want to explain. When we took the names in the beginning, there were 7 names. 1 was removed, 1 couldn't serve. So in the very beginning, when y'all first started talking about that, and this occurred on April 22nd of this past year, 24, I think Commissioner Burks made a list, and I believe Chairman Thrift's comment was that he was the only one that did his homework. Everybody was supposed to kind of research who they wanted to put on there, come up with some names, so he had a list of names that he presented. But it was made plain that everybody selected their own person. You needed 5 names. It started out, Commissioner Hendricks selected Davis Delk. Lucas selected Moni Thrift. Chairman Thrift selected Mike Bigpen. Burst selected Carlos Nelson, and Commissioner Pope had mentioned Alicia Gibson. Well, those two, Alicia Gibson and Davis Delk, were already on the board, so we had to have 2 other names. So they went back and changed it out, and Commissioner Hendricks' dad was nominated, and then Commissioner Pope nominated Daniel Warren. And when I got a hold of Daniel Warren, he is actually, I think, in the process of moving to Pierce County. So he suggested somebody else. So because that was Commissioner Pope's selection, and although he's not on the board, at that time, he had a selection. I checked and asked him, Daniel Warren said, I can't do it, but here's who has worked with me, and this is who I suggest take my place. Commissioner Pope was good with that. The man has worked with him before. He has coached out there, has passed the check, and actually was at the meeting with Commissioner Lucas and Commissioner Pope when they met with the ones who were going to be on the board. So that's why there's one name, based on what was in the minutes, there's one name different. Daniel Warren went to John White, but the person that appointed or selected approved the substitution. So I just wanted to clear up any confusion there.
Okay, thank you.
But then the way we have this, and our attorney pointed out, I think it's state law as well as our code, that they do have to serve a 5-year term, but because the board has not been active for a while, we just randomly selected 1, 2, or 3-year terms for each I just basically put 1, 2, and 3 out to the side, would draw a number and put it next to the person that determined, because state law also says you have to have a term expiring each year, each calendar year. So this way, we'll have one expiring, there's 2 that will expire this year, 2 that will expire in '26, and 3 that will expire in '27. And then from there on out, they'll start being 5-year terms, which we may have to adjust that slightly because of the ending there.
So right now, there'd be 3-year terms.
No, sir, some have
Still gonna be
1, some
5?
have 2. It's staggered so that we
Okay.
could, so that everybody wouldn't, we didn't want to appoint everybody for 5-year terms, and then 5 years from now, we're in the same boat trying to appoint 7 more people. So we just staggered it.
But from this point on, it will be 5-year terms whenever they start.
Yes, sir.
Well, I know it's something, okay.
Right.
What's the maximum amount they can serve? 2 consecutive?
I don't
I
know.
don't
And
think,
that's
I
his
don't
first
think
year?
there's a term limit on it.
I don't think there is the
There's not
maximum.
a term?
It's in the,
Limit on
yeah, in the bylaws that I have, John, if that's in there.
Term limit on those.
I
didn't see it in there, but
It's in the back of the book. It should be in the back.
I got that, but I didn't see.
Oh, if you didn't see that, yeah, I don't know that there,
About the term
we said anything about term limits.
I don't think it's ever been, where they had term limits, it's just they serve, I think the only thing that I heard some rumbling about 3-year versus 5-year terms.
Yeah, 5 years seemed like a lot, but at the time I didn't know it was state law, but our
State law
attorney
is
did
at
her
5.
job and pointed that out to us, so yeah. But they can always, if at some point the other things come up, life gets in the way, things happen,
Right.
they can always ask to come off the board and we can reappoint somebody else to take
So
their
it
place.
says right here in Article 4, Board Membership, number E, reappointments shall be unrestricted at the discretion of the Board of Commissioners.
Just keep-
So
there's your
unrestricted amounts
answer,
of renewals, as long as we're okay with it.
Right. It's going in the perpetuity.
That's it.
And Mr. Chair, if you don't mind,
Okay.
Miss Melinda, that everybody sign. You got a copy of the bylaws and
I have one that's coming in to sign, because I didn't have, but she had been wanting, it's Miss Gibson, and she's been on it before, and she understands, what it's all about, that it's an advisory capacity, and she's good. Matter of fact, she's gonna try to come up here this afternoon.
Okay.
And I told her if she doesn't get here before 5, that we've got a copy here, that she could come over here and sign.
so everybody has already
And
signed
everybody
and they
else has
agree.
signed and good, we've all had conversation, so, yes, sir.
Thank
And then, once we get them appointed, then I'll get with them and we'll set up where I do the open records, open meetings training, so that everybody's aware of what they have to do, so that they stay within the law.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we don't want no sunshine stuff.
exactly. And I've got all the training material that I've been through that I'll pass along, so.
And I also, Mr. Chairman, like I said, because I was questioning about, one of the appointments that was on there, not appointment, one of the people that's on there, and found out, and the interim manager explained, about the previous commissioner, how that was his appointment and everything, and didn't have a problem with it. So I did talk to the gentleman, and he's really anxious, wants to serve and everything, so just wanted to touch base with him.
Right, and from what I understand, he's a good coach.
Okay,
So, I
we
mean,
got
he
the-
won't be coaching, but I mean, so he's
Right.
active or involved.
And got the rec director, you good with this? Okay.
So we're gonna reactivate it tonight.
All right, let's carry it over. All right, now, appointment of the West Ware County Development Authority.
Who's got information on that?
Appointment to the Waycross Ware County
Oh,
Development.
yes, sir.
So this is
Jason, you wanna-
filling somebody's spot?
Yes, sir, I'll let Jason
Mr.
just
West
explain
is
since it's for
stepping
him
down.
and he's here.
Yeah, he's moved.
Right.
Vice President John Coastal.
So back in August 2024, Thomas Wesley, who was serving this seat, resigned because he accepted a position at Wiregrass Technical College in Valdosta. So one of the requirements is you have to reside in Ware County to serve on the Waycross Ware County Development Authority. So we opened it up for applications, as we always do. We received 2 applicants, and the board went ahead, reviewed both applications thoroughly, and has made the recommendation to you to nominate and appoint Daniel Morris to the board. Daniel does have experience in the past as our former board chairman, He already served his 2 consecutive terms and was required to roll off the board for 1 year as required by our enabling legislation. He has satisfied that requirement, so therefore he is eligible to serve on the board again. This term will fill this unexpired term, and then he'll have the ability to remain on in his own right for 2 consecutive terms.
Okay. He's the only one then that qualified for it?
No, there was also another qualification of the 2 qualified applicants. His qualifications were in the best interest of the board.
Okay. All righty. All right. Thank you, Jason. Okay, let's carry that one.
The next one is
Appointment for the Downtown Waycross Development Authority.
Who's on that one?
Yes, sir, this is the post for Downtown Waycross Development Authority Board that former Commissioner Pope held. I did talk with the director. It's not an ex officio position, so you can appoint either a citizen of Ware County or a sitting commissioner. That is, at your discretion what you do. So
Okay.
you just need to come up with a name and we'll get one appointed.
It is good.
I think on these, now, just my opinion on this is that I think that, if we're gonna be, because we fund part of the Downtown Development Authority, and I feel like that if we're gonna be funding the board for different things, then I feel like we need to have one of us that are the elected officials serve in this kind of position as our appointment, just so we have a better understanding back and forth between the boards.
Right.
So I would make the suggestion that we. one of
Pick
the
somebody
five.
off the
Yeah.
board to be on it. Okay. I feel that way too.
And I think they
Okay, y'all
presented their
decide.
plan.
I think
We'll vote on it.
Carry it over?
Carry it
Let's
over. We'll
go.
vote on it.
We'll decide who we want to recommend. Okay. Now, we'll go to rezoning request, the intersection of Dorothy Street and East Blackshire Avenue. Now, this is just a
This was,
request for rezoning.
right, we had the public hearing last month. Yes, sir.
We had the public hearing.
All right, Mr. Chair, I'm gonna step down.
Mr. Chairman, just, for those commissioners that were not present, but I believe you were present in the audience, just not on the official board, but we did have a public hearing on this rezoning request, and then after the public hearing, it was on that evening's agenda. The board chose to table it at that agenda, and so now it's before you all today. And I believe Commissioner Lucas is gonna step down, and not participate in the discussions, this afternoon. And I believe I noted in the audience, that we do have representatives of the applicant here, and so if the board desires to hear from them, then I just wanted to note that, I did see, Representative Burchett and his partner in the audience.
Okay.
So just so we're clear to everybody that's watching, is Commissioner Lucas stepping down because of a known conflict?
So, and to clarify, and I won't get into the full analysis, there is a, Conflicts Act where, there's a very distinct analysis of what is a conflict under that act.
Right.
He is not an owner in the property that's under consideration, so under that law, there is not a specific defined conflict. However, there are other considerations that because there's property located right next door, he has chosen to declare to not participate in these discussions as a result of that property being located next door.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
Mr. Chairman,
Good afternoon.
Commissioners, good afternoon. I'm here to answer any questions. I'm not here in my capacity as state representative. I'm here in my capacity as an attorney. I've been hired by our client to help them with the rezoning of this parcel. And I've had contact with you all and hoping for a confirmation of this rezoning. We've got an affirmative from the Planning and Zoning Board, and so I can stand for questions, and also have my client in the audience who can stand for questions as well.
Okay. Y'all have any questions on it?
I do. Have y'all talked to the adjoining landowners Are y'all willing to work out any deal they got there that they may not like or something, like the fences and stuff, or?
Well, I'm gonna have them come up and respond. My name is David Neubauer. I'm a representative here of Terremore Development. Along the western boundary of the property, we will have a 8-foot privacy shadow box fence, as well as the northern portion boundary of the property as well.
Okay. Like I say, I had talked to people out there, and I really had nobody against it. But one of the landowners is concerned about it being so, close to his land line, and that's what I didn't know if that was something that might be worked out to move it, over a little bit away, I really don't know what the law is on how close it can be, but one of the landowners was the only one that I heard say anything against it because of it, being so close, so. And what I'm trying to do is just make everybody happy with it.
He's with you. Already.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
got a few things.
Go ahead.
Appreciate y'all come back and, the last time when you were here, we talking about this rezoning request, which is currently zoned R75MH. And yeah, the planning commission did vote to approve it, but based on, the report that they sent and also with the vote, it wasn't like a unanimous vote on this particular issue. And, under this adopted Ware County rezoning standards under number 4, it says that they are concerned regarding the use of semi-truck/trailer traffic in mostly residential neighborhood on East Blackshear Avenue and Dorothy Street, and concerns on their entry and exit for the property. There are also concerns regarding the ability of tractor trailers to make the turn at the intersection of East Blackshear Avenue and Dorothy. That's just one of the concerns. The next thing is that it mentioned about, it was stated this truck, the truck comes in like one time a week. Okay, I accept that, but you also got a lot of other vendors that come in on a constant basis, i.e. Beverage trucks, different other trucks that's coming in. Now the Dollar General truck may only come in once a week, but you got all these other trucks coming in, which, constitutes a lot of more traffic. Also, a concern that I've gotten from people that have talked to me about it is proximity to the school, that it's already zoned R75MH, and in that area right now, you don't really even have any houses right in that particular spot, but it's zoned for that. And we know that in Ware County, sometimes as far as residential spots to build, we don't have a lot of nice spots, picked out. You can go right way out in the rural, but then you have to deal with septic tanks and no water and all this kind of stuff. So for that reason, I think that, in my opinion, this road wouldn't be a good fit for that particular spot right there, on that corner right there, and then you have the nursing home right across the street. So it's a lot of concern, but again, I want to reiterate that it was not unanimous. It was a close vote, and there were some reservations even with the planning commission about, this particular spot. And last I checked, I believe in Waycross and Ware County, we got probably about, 7, 8, maybe Dollar Generals in Waycross and Ware County. And we have some that's not even that far. They're in probably less than a mile and a half. You got Family Dollar, you got the Dollar General. And so I'm just saying, in this particular spot right here, I'm not being anti-business coming in, but every business doesn't always fit everything. So that's some of the things I got, and the concerns I have from constituents is that, it just they don't think it'd be a good fit for that area over there. And you got Center Elementary School right almost like across the street.
I know with the planning commission, and then also I think at the last meeting, the OCC meeting, it was concern of traveling up and down the north leg of Dorothy Street, but that's highly unlikely. The trucks are more than likely going to utilize US Highway 1, jump onto East Blackshear Avenue, head east towards the site, turn in, deliver the goods, come back out onto East Blackshear, head west, and jump onto US Highway 1.
Yeah. Well, I stayed not right close by there, but in that general vicinity, and they have been sometime transferred. They're not supposed to be coming down there right on Dorothy Street, you know, and coming off from the T-Boat side over there. So it just depends on, I guess, the drive, which part they choose.
Mr. Burris, I was looking at that thing, and I've talked to some people over there about that area. If they go out to the Kmart, Circle K or something, on Blackshear Avenue, and train across there, they need a store in that area, is what they're saying.
Well,
I feel like they really need one.
There's one right over there on T-Boat, right, I almost can see it from here.
Yeah, but that's a long way from out there where they at.
Mr.
Yeah,
Commissioner,
but they also have one on State Street too now. They have a Dollar General out there.
to your point, also Food Line shut down on that side of town too, so this is one of these was recently opened right there on Albany Avenue, the one that would be most similar to this one.
Right.
So I totally understand your concerns, and you're correct, it wasn't a unanimous vote, but it was a vote to approve the rezoning. And while I hear your concerns, some of the things that I would respond with would be that the concern about trucks, we have trucks that deliver, big trucks that deliver to the school. We have school buses on those roads as well. We have big trucks that deliver to the nursing care facilities. And to the chairman's point, those folks over there, if a train is on the track, they don't have a little small place to go grab milk, eggs, bread. We have one on the way home now, and I can tell you from my wife's perspective that she'd rather go to one of these than she would go spend an hour trying to make it through Walmart.
So when you say that if it was a train on the track, that it wouldn't have access to get to the Dollar General. I know obviously on State Street on the other side.
Yeah.
But you have one right over here. And it's not that far.
Well,
Well, matter of fact, yeah, you got two really.
Where's the other one at?
Well, you got one, you got a Dollar General right there on T-Bow, and you got a Family Dollar right there next to Advance Auto.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people out there around that old golf course.
Around the where?
Right there, in that area on Dorothy Street where he was talking about.
So,
Mr. Chairman, can I say something?
Mr. Burkett, I've got a,
go ahead, Mr.
I was gonna say, I've got a question. So that area on the east side over there on Dorothy, it's the wetlands area that says it's gonna be cleared to the furthest extent. How much are you anticipating clearing from that area? I mean, is it gonna be down to the ground? Are you gonna leave trees up? Is there gonna be some kind of buffer between in there?
Yeah, I think there will be a buffer. I don't know if we'll be able to clear everything there to disturb the screen that's there
Yeah.
currently.
Because I think you gotta be, what, 30 feet off the wetlands on the delineation line?
Generally in a creek bed.
Okay.
It is in my creek bed.
Yeah, I mean, I know you gotta be certain off of different things, but I can't remember what it is off of wetlands area.
Wetlands don't have any state waters.
Do what?
It's state waters that has a buffer, wetlands doesn't have a buffer.
Doesn't have buffer, but it's right there on the delineation line there, right? Okay.
Correct. My name is Josh Rasmussen. I'm a associate of David Neubauer with Terramore Development as well. To address a couple questions, the first question about the residents and the fencing to the neighboring properties. We are just strictly doing a 2-acre subdivision of this property. We are not taking the development all the way back to the boundary line. So our development is strictly going to be on the 2 acres, I believe, plus or minus 2 acres, at the, I guess if you're looking at the property line, that would be the southeast corner. Correct. The wetlands are there. We are, at least, I have our site design engineer gentleman here, Mr. Pete Schunauer. There's no required setback from the wetlands, but we are a significant distance from that, and it would be our retention pond on that side, then the building, and so on and so forth. Traffic and truck delivery, completely understand. Yes, it is zoned residential, but I also wanted to point out that the future land use and the comprehensive plan for Ware County has this area designated as commercial currently. So I just wanted to be sure that that
Okay,
was,
that's-
that was the.
I was gonna answer a question about the trucks. I was concerned about truck traffic, but in this rendering, they've accounted for the ability for the truck to pull into the parking lot, back into their, where they'll be unloading. And so there won't be a, stop in the middle of Blackshear and back in. They'll pull into their parking lot, back up into their loading dock area, so there should be no issue with a truck stopping on East Blackshear in the event that this is approved.
So I've got another question. I'm not sure if it's you guys that do this part of it, but I'm assuming that someone has gone in and done an economic study about the potential growth that you're gonna have from this store. They put it in there, and they've obviously done some type of study that says that in this area, we'll make enough money to make our profits to keep this store going. I mean, I don't know if y'all were the ones that did that, or if that was another leg of something, but.
So that's our tenant, Dollar General does
Right.
that. So Dollar General has determined that this trade area can support, has enough rooftops, population, demographics, support another store in this area and could be served in this area.
Okay.
They take into account, I mean, of course, it's proprietary information, how they determine exactly where they
Right.
want to be, but all of that determines separation from competitors, separation from existing stores, traffic, which the traffic is, we're not trying to be a destination point. What their goal is to pick up on the traffic that's already existing and already there.
Right.
What else was it? Demographics, traffic, separation is pretty much how they determine exactly where they can. And then the trade area, and the economics of the trade area.
Okay.
So,
But it's obvious if they're gonna make this type of investment, they're gonna
correct.
see that there's an ability to be profitable.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, again, going back to the zoning issue, and you use the analogy about the school bus and all that, and it's true, they do have school buses over there, but we're not talking about, this is for the school purposes and not commercial, what we'll be talking about. And also, when you start talking about bringing things in the neighborhoods, and this is why we have zoning, because sometimes people way back just come put anything in there. And so a lot of times people, they want to try to maintain the integrity of the neighborhoods and that surrounding by having certain zoning. That's why when we used to be at homes, and a lot of times people want to know, okay, is this zone where you can put mobile homes or not put mobile homes? Either way, I mean, mobile homes are great, but when you start mixing the mobile homes in with the residential, you got a problem there. So this is why we got this zoning, the R75 MH, the RS single family dwelling, and I just don't think this would be a good fit in that particular spot. That's just my opinion. I got 1/20th of the vote up here, but that's my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. I totally respect your opinion, and you brought up some good points.
Oh, okay, yeah, quarter.
My thought is, in the neighborhood, I would think it would be good. We were very happy to have one on our way home, but I respect your opinion certainly.
And let me say this too, Representative Burchett, I shop at Dollar General, but what I'm saying, I'm just talking about now putting this other one here, and I go to that one right there on Tebow. It's right there on a, kind of almost like a major thoroughfare, and one corridor Z and all, so location. This is the key thing in real estate. That's one thing I do remember when I got my license.
I agree with you, Anything to do with that we don't have to go and check our own groceries out on is what I'm for right now.
Like I say, I talked to probably 6 or 8 people over there, and I think 2 of them said they did not have a car, and they liked the idea because they could walk, to the stores.
Well, I can tell you from a conversation I had earlier today with, no, totally different than this one, but we've been talking a lot about food deserts in this state. Now, I agree with Commissioner Burst, we have a good many options here in Ware County, but there are people, like you said, Commissioner Cox, that do not have
Yeah.
a way to go. Or if they have one vehicle and one spouse is working, the other spouse is at home,
Yeah.
their only way would be to go by, we don't have a bunch of Uber around here, so it's gonna be walking or riding a bike, and for those folks, it would be beneficial, I believe. And so, an opportunity for one, jobs, while it's not 100 or 500, it's gonna be 8 to 20 or 8 to 15, and then opportunity for folks to buy grocery goods and home goods for a small, a reasonable amount of money. I think it's a good project for the neighborhood. Respectfully, Commissioner, I understand your position.
I appreciate that.
And more
Mr.
tax
Chairman.
revenue too.
May I ask a question?
Yeah,
Just
go ahead.
curious. And this, I guess, Mr. Pete, how far back or how far will your parking lot and your building be from your sideline, from your western boundary? So I don't see that measured on here. I know we probably had it. And,
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question, Mr. Sugar?
how far would your parking lot would be and your building be from your western boundary?
I don't have it dimensioned, these are preliminary plans, but I would say we are, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, I think about 40 feet,
40 feet?
roughly, for the westernmost edge of the parking. I'm just
So-
trying to put in reference the parking stall that are 9 feet wide there. Just trying to, I don't think I've got that measured. That's 36, yeah, I would say right around 40 feet.
With that said, just a thought, if you have a concern from the western property owner, boundary, would it be possible to set the required fence back, to maybe the minimum setback line, I think, which is 25 feet on that side, and then do like a planted buffer, outside that fence so that it keeps the area attractive on that side, you're not just looking at a privacy fence.
We could agree to doing something like that, sure. Peter Schoenauer, by the way, Tidewater Engineering.
Okay.
Can I mention something to Ian while you're there? I'm the property owner there, you can see the property from my hand,
Excuse me. Excuse me. Can he participate in this? I'm just kidding.
I'm as a citizen out here right now. It's no different than Mr. James being on the House of Reps and him acting as an attorney.
I'm just trying to keep out of trouble.
He can talk then.
What I advised him is that, again, he does not have a technical conflict under the, Conflict of Interest Act because he is not an owner in the property. What he has is an interest, of course, in the property next door, which then arguably could be affected. So I have asked him not to participate in the vote or the discussions. He is in the audience and desires to make sure that these gentlemen have some certain information about an easement. And so, this is then his decision, to communicate that information to them.
Okay.
That's the reason I wanted to
We can
ask
allow.
Yeah, okay.
where the fence was exactly gonna be. Because Georgia Power, my grandmother gave Georgia Power easement rights 50, 60 years ago. And then Aunt Atha signed them an open easement right when the Brother Bates owned both sides of it before Miss Jim bought it. And my Aunt Atha signed in 1989, July the 26th and 89 to continue that easement. So I spoke to 2 Georgia Power people, one's the policeman who lived right across the street from me, and I spoke to an executive from Georgia Power. And if that's the reason I'm asking where the fence is gonna be. Is your fence gonna go up and then go west and cover your property line? Because if you do, Georgia Power's already said they're gonna mow it down.
We can sidebar this, Commissioners. Is there anything else that we can answer for you?
Yeah, 'cause, as far as I understand, that situation is gonna be more of a architectural engineering standpoint to make sure that you're meeting all setbacks and stuff like that. It's sitting about,
I don't think that has anything to do with the commission.
so
All we're doing is rezoning anyway, right?
Right.
Gentlemen, if you feel like you have enough information, at this time from these gentlemen, then, I think, this is our work session, so it'll still have to be added to the agenda for the meeting, which is the time that you will take the vote. But if you don't have any more questions, then,
I don't have, Mr.
You
Chairman,
have any
just
more?
my own
Anybody?
question. The only thing I wanna say is that I appreciate, the Dollar Generals and everything. I think it's great. I'm just saying, in this particular spot, I just don't think this would be a good fit out there.
Okay. All right,
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Thank you.
thank y'all for coming. Okay, let's move it over to, we're gonna vote on it.
Commissioner Lucas, would you like to participate in the discussion about LMIG, and then have that conversation, or did you want to skip out on the remainder of this?
You come on,
They need to come on back.
you come on back, finish the meeting first. Okay, we carry that over. All right, now discussion of roads for 2025 LMIG application. Okay. I've looked at those, some of those roads that we've got on this list, and it's kind of hard for us to come up with everybody's looking at all these lists. We only have so much money coming out of that LMIG to spend. Is that correct?
1.19.
Yeah. Okay, and we know we can't pave all these roads.
Right.
So I think what we should do is maybe pick one or two commissioners.
Well, this was for resurfacing, I believe is what that was.
That's right,
about.
resurfacing. We know what it's for. It's for resurfacing of these roads. LMIG will only have so much money. But it's hard for us to come up with these. You got some of these roads here just over and over, and it really don't make, we need to go out. Somebody need to go out and ride these roads and decide which ones we're gonna do and come bring it before the board.
Mr. Chairman, so yesterday I went out and did ride the roads. Mr. Schubert and I rode these roads. I started up at 3 o'clock with him, and I think I got home about 6:30 from riding the roads. Rode most of every road on this on the list, or we looked at them. But I was looking at a list from that I guess it didn't make the cut in the 2022 LMIG. That if we were to go back and do these ones that are on this list, that what we can do is we can actually resurface or pave these roads, and then we'll be removing the road grader from those areas. And
Right.
it'll be, and it's small little, like, we're talking about 300 feet at a time, 300 feet, 500 feet, something like that. So it's quick jobs, and then it would stretch our dollars into an area. We could do, just everything on these two lists comes up to about $850,000, and we'd still have a little bit less money left over to do something else that we could possibly go in and do some other type of surface treatment, and things like that. So that would be my suggestion after riding the roads. And because I think some of these ones that are on this big list that we look at,
Which list you looking at?
so I'm looking at a list that Mr. Schubert gave me from, it's a
We got a list
2022.
here that.
Yeah, and it wasn't in our packet that we got on the that they sent us.
Well, see, that's what everybody gets confused.
Yeah, exactly.
We got so many lists floating
And
around out there now.
so I think a lot of times what we wind up doing is we wind up making a list, and because we don't have enough money, that it doesn't make the
Right.
cut. And so then those roads get forgot about. But if we move it on and take care of those roads on the next one, then we finish that area out, and we have a plan, and we stick to the plan.
Yeah.
And then, because then we could go into another area next year when we get LMIG. We talked about a couple of different areas that if we can, in the urban area of the county, as we're moving out, we just start cutting out all the dirt roads. We move the tractors to other areas, and then that way they're kind of moving further and further out, and
You talk about
can
paving
impact.
it in the donut and go out.
Yeah, and then if we do certain areas at a time, I mean, because that list that I was looking at with Mr. Schubert, and I'll go ahead and tell you, there's not the first road on that list that's in my district. But I don't care. I'm saying that I think we just need to take care of the whole county and make sure that we, you know, we started some plans,
Yeah.
but then we need to finish them, is where I'm going at it.
Evidently, we don't have that list that you.
I think
looking at.
I think Mr. Schubert's going to get it.
Yeah, that's back,
That's
it may have
some of
been
that.
one of the one I gave him, the list that we had way back, the 2022.
It was
and-
2022 LMIG that,
Right.
those roads just didn't make the cut as far as
Yeah.
budget
Now, the
goes.
LMIG ain't got nothing to do with Pascal.
And Mr. Chairman,
Ain't got nothing to do with all that.
No, this is different.
and Mr. Chairman, I would also like to piggyback on what Commissioner Tindall was saying there, expounding on. Cause we got some of these roads on here that if we did just one road, it would soak up every penny
Yep.
of that
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Versus where you may be able to go out and get 6 or 7 or possibly 8 roads for that same amount. And, I know the people on that one road may say, well, hey, we need it, but what I'm saying, with this money, we got to try to stretch it as far as we can. I think we'll get more bang for the buck when we kind of do it in increments like this right here. And, it's a lot of roads here.
These are all little short streets, y'all.
Right, right, these are just
Yeah,
short
I
streets,
know
like I
about
said,
every one of these
I think the longest one is 1,000 feet.
Yeah.
And, these are just short strips, that can be done, and some of the notes that we made on the side of it, some of them are dirt, that one at very top, California, that one's already been done. The ones that have HB on there, they have base on them already, and so we're just going right over the top of them. And I think we were talking about doing surface treatment instead of the asphalt.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not a road guy, but I think it's a little bit less expensive and it
Right.
lasts just as long.
I think that's,
Or longer.
Or longer. And then, now those 3 down at the bottom, those were taken care of in the last splosh, right?
2022
In the
LMIG.
22, or not splosh,
Those
LMIG.
also.
Yeah,
But those
those-
ones on the very bottom,
yeah, those were
in
the
that
ones.
bottom chart, they've already been taken care of.
Okay.
But these on this 2 list right here, that would be my suggestion. I'm not, you know, I'm not stomping my foot down or anything, but that's where I would lean heavy.
and that's one of the things too, Commissioner Turner, that the chairman has, you know, advocated is, trying to do a lot of surface treatments when we can, because at the end of the
Right.
day, some of the people, they don't want all the whistles and the bells, you know, all the fancy curb and the gutter, they wanna get out the mud.
Right.
And that's the main thing they wanna do. And, so I think that along with doing these shorter streets and then along with some of them that we can do surface treatment on.
Right.
I think we'll be,
Now, I will say that as we were riding around yesterday, and I think we were over, I can't remember, I know I could go there, but I can't remember what area it's called, but it's off of Augusta.
Yes.
And, it's got curb and gutter, or it's got gutter, some of the places has curb, but it's got a lot of gutter. Well, that needs to be maintained. That right there is grown over, there you can't even see the gutters anymore, and those gutters are put there to move the water. And so
Right.
what's happening is that water's piling up on the road, and a road that's underwater ain't gonna last real long. And so we got to get in there, we need to get in there and clean out those gutters and do some maintenance on those roads. They would probably last a lot longer if we had the maintenance.
I've been trying to tell them that we need to clip these roads, these shoulders,
Yep.
get this dirt off the side of the road, that water run off. But
Yep.
it's not been doing.
Right.
Not been happening.
And I think used to, it was.
Maintenance is what they're supposed to be all about, not building roads.
And I think at some point it was that, you know, those things were taken care of by, we had prison crews to go out there, and then just obviously from that point on, we're not using prison crews for reasons, but, and it just kinda got forgotten about.
Yeah.
So I think that would be in those areas off of Augusta, if we can get there and clean those up, I think that'd be just as good as paving over in that area, make it look better.
Are y'all all satisfied with this here on these short streets to go ahead with those?
and
I
Mr.
would.
Chairman,
Put this new L big money on it.
Yeah.
also, Mr. Chairman, even on the list that we got, one of these roads I know has been done, Mount Pleasant Road.
Mount Pleasant Road, been.
It's already
It's
been done.
already been done.
Yeah, but it's
Is it
this-
on here?
It's on the list. Number 17.
Yeah, as commissioners, that was a list that was
Oh,
previously
you talking about,
discussed.
it ain't on this list though, is it?
No, it's not on that one, on the list we got.
It's on
in our
this
Oh,
packet.
one.
yeah,
That's on the list
yeah,
right here.
them's already been passed, yeah, I know some of those, and, some of that Needham Road, 8 Mile Post Road, some of those have done been fixed.
Yeah.
There's part of it that hadn't.
But this short list right here, the short, I'll call it a short list because it's short little strips of road. I mean, That's not gonna take all of our LMIG money. That's gonna be around 800,000, maybe a little bit more, because I don't know when the quotes were picked up. But it may be a little bit more, but then we could possibly have, a couple $100,000 left over to go out. And some of these roads, I think, on the list, I think there was another one, maybe Jim Mixon, that had some spots we could go in there and patch.
Right.
Could do some shoulder work on some of them. Maybe even, what's that road that comes off of Jim Mixon that we rode on?
Camp Branch.
Camp Branch, yeah, it was worse than Jim Mixon.
Yeah.
And so if we went in there and kind of did some, repair work on that with the money that's left over, then we could stretch it even further.
We could list those on there to be, patched.
Patched.
Yeah.
The deep patching on some of them.
Yeah.
Jim Mixon probably needs to patch every cross drain.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, every cross drain was sunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But of course, we'd also need to, we do the cross drains, we need to investigate the cross drains, make sure there's not an issue with the cross drain.
Yeah.
So that way, if it's settling or whatever, if we can fix that, so we don't have to lick that cat again later on.
We're crunched for time. This application for 2025 is due February 1st. So actually it's gonna be due January 30th, I think, because that's on a Friday maybe. So we're just crunched for time, so we didn't have a chance to generate a new list, so we just used the old list that we, passed out as part of the agenda. And then this list that you have here, the best I can tell from my research, this list was actually the original list paid for, that was approved for the 2022 LMIG.
Okay.
And then it got changed. So, that's where we're at. So,
All right. We'll use that, if everybody's okay, we'll use that list right there then, those first two, and put them on there. Plus, if you wanna put that deep patching on those, down at Manor and all that needs patching.
So you talking about doing these right here?
Doing these first two.
Both
Both.
both of those right there.
At the bottom one,
Okay,
they already done. See
So
here?
some of these already done?
These here
These
down
down
at
here
the
are
bottom.
done, and then these right here need to be done.
These are just short streets that need to be done.
Short streets.
And if I may mention something, Chairman, this is all right. There's one street, and I know it's in the city, and it ain't from me to that double door. And it's the only dirt road in that entire neighborhood,
Where's it at?
Baker Street.
Baker.
Baker Street runs from Margaret Street to Ann Street.
And it's paved on each side of it?
It's paved, everything in that neighborhood over there is paved except Baker Street.
And that's off of Margaret, that's an old line?
09. From Margaret to Ann.
You wanna put Margaret on there then?
No, Baker.
I mean Baker.
From Margaret to Ann.
Baker?
I mean, like I say, it
I'm
ain't,
fine with that.
It
Because if
ain't-
we got one dirt road in an area, that means we gotta take the tractor over there for one dirt road,
right.
and it's gonna get lost in the shuffle.
And it's been lost in the shuffle for years
Right.
and years and years.
Right.
we'll put it on there tentatively, but I'd like to meet with, the city and make sure there's no water and sewer improvements before we go in there and pave the road, and they're in there cutting it.
They've already
tearing
been
it up.
they've already been put in there.
So,
Water and sewer's already been put in there.
okay. We'll just make sure they don't have no capital plan to upgrade or whatever beforehand.
Okay.
Okay. From Margaret to where's it go across?
It's from Margaret Street to Ann Street.
Margaret to Ann.
The north part of Baker's been paved and the south part of Baker's been paved. It's just that one little strip that ain't 70 feet, 65, 70 feet long that's dirt.
We'll carry them
And
over
that's the
there.
way a lot of some of these are, same thing.
All right. Let's go on. Any, manager comments?
Well, let's see, we got some updates. Give me just a second here. All right, the State Street overpass, the let date where they will send that contract out for bid is, they're looking at September of '25. And that they hope actual construction would be around the 1st of January 26. So he said, and he's talking boots on the ground, seeing people out there working.
September.
State
Yeah,
Street.
State Street,
State
Davis,
Street.
US 1. whatever
So
you call it.
September of this year to bid out, and
Yeah.
then this time next year, boots on the ground, stuff in place, so. the
Well, I tell you,
next-
that's actually really good, because I remember in 2000, I think it was 18, we took a trip up to Atlanta. I was on the city commission, sat in DOT's big conference room with several of the commissioners and county manager at the time and all this stuff, and they told us the earliest date that they were gonna break, or not, I think that not just break ground, but even start preliminary engineering on that job was gonna be 2032. So if we're gonna be in there 7 years earlier, hot dog.
I think we can
And
thank
that's what they're
Representative
hoping for,
Burchett on
you know,
that.
this isn't guaranteed, but that's exactly what they're
Yeah.
hoping for.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
And I think that's one thing that Representative Burchett has worked on,
Yes,
and he's worked on heavily, and I'd like to thank him for that as well.
I agree. I agree.
Mr.
Do you have a report on Albany Avenue?
That's what we're working on now.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, he's got some stuff up there. Okay, I had emailed these plans out, and I hadn't heard anything back from anybody. What he's passing out is what James has gone through and looked at that would be the most beneficial for you to look at. It's just made it bigger in case you couldn't see it on your computer screen. They're basically, these are the construction plans for you to review, and this is, and we were on a little conference call with them together. This is where they were talking, these are the plans after they talked about removing the walls.
Yeah, that's the bridge starters right there.
So, and I'll just tell you real quick while you're looking at that, I also sent out the ESA Phase 1 report, which was 500 pages, so that's something you'd have to scroll through, but basically, how would I say that it's got them looking at, there's gonna be a Phase 2 where there were some fuel tanks and a historical record of contamination, so they will do a little bit more soil testing before you would start right-of-way acquisition. And right now, he said just kind of a ballpark figure to do that would be about $100,000 to do that testing. But they will double check everything and make sure that they're testing only what they need to, that there's nothing extra, and that you are testing things that need to be tested, so that nothing gets left out. And I'm gonna
Who's
let,
doing the, review on that to make sure they do all the testing and not more than they need?
this would be, Practical Design Partner, the ones who's doing the design for us. And I'm gonna let Mr. Schubert, handle the rest of this explanation.
So basically, you know, the original design of this project was retaining walls, which at the retaining walls, you can basically just go in what right-of-way you had, very minimal right-of-way impacts. But the cost was, it drove the cost up like $3 million for those. So we asked them to come back and redesign it on the pillar concept, and so with that, it's gonna push your right-of-way out like 60 feet of what you've got to purchase, but still should be less than what the $3 million that it was gonna cost for the retaining walls. The commission has originally approved the concept to do the pylon construction, but the engineers need a final approval for them to go proceed with the right-of-way plans. So we see actually how much right-of-way from each parcel we're gonna have to acquire, the calculations. So that's what they're asking for now, is that we get the commission's approval to move forward with this design, and then they'll move forward with the right-of-way, and then the Phase 2 environmental assessment, so that they can get that, because you don't want to buy right-of-way before you know what's under the ground.
Right.
So, so that's what they're at.
Did you give these out?
I didn't.
Mr. Schubert?
Mr. Schubert,
And
Yes, ma'am.
here's
Yes,
the,
sir.
can I please?
Yeah, hold on, okay, go ahead, Mr. Lucas.
I know this is probably a crazy question, but I got to ask it being what happened in Homerville. But you know, Atlanta Light and Gas used to be right there on Albany Avenue for 100 years.
Right.
Are they gonna check for gas lines before we go in there and start digging for?
Yeah, they'll get locates on
They'll
everything.
get all that.
So they'll locate all the gas lines, all the power lines. There's usually, I think there's usually,
They'll do all that.
I'm going back to the LAP days, but usually there's like 2 stages of locations for utilities. The first is just like a preliminary, where we kind of locate everything that's known, and then the second was a more in-depth. They can actually go down and tell you how deep it is and pinpoint where they're at. So, but yeah, they'll locate those.
All right.
I also gave you a timeline, and it's it's been delayed, I think he said about 8 months out, just with the right-of-way acquisition, the back and forth with CSX is what's
Yeah.
pushed a lot of that back. So that's just a, projection there.
April of '26 being completion.
That's the bid advertisement. That's when we go out for bids to let the project.
Wish it would. Mr. Schubert,
Yes, sir.
so I wanna make sure I'm understanding your code. The
I can't believe it.
design they have right now is the one with the power.
Right.
I told you that.
And
There you go.
we, elected to go that route because of retaining walls. It would be like, what, $3 or $4 million more
It
dollars?
was $3 million higher.
And so you're thinking that with the land acquisition that we'll have to buy right away will come in a lot less than that?
That's the initial thinking, but, we won't know as absolutely until you have, appraisals done. So you'll have to do, follow DOT guidelines on appraisals on this because you're using, monies.
State funds.
Okay, and I guess what I'm trying to find out, okay, but the best, I guess the best design would have been to have the retaining wall.
To stay inside the right of way.
Right, to stay inside the right of way. So that's what I wish we knew a good figure as to how much it would be, because if we end up still having to pay the same amount,
Right.
then,
I'll dig on the computers, the engineer's computer, and also Scott's computer, and see if I can't locate, because I think they're the ones who done the analysis with the property assessors appraisals or whatever.
They did the groundwork.
The wall
they
did
done
not
the
have
groundwork.
any reason for us to acquire any more right of way.
So-
Right,
No,
the walls were
that's
right
not
there.
right.
yeah, that's
The
what,
walls didn't require any more right of way.
That's what I said.
And without them does not require any more right of way.
well, with.
These roads is what, these intersections is what's acquiring the right of way. It's gonna be the same thing any way you look at it.
That's what I was trying
I
to
done built
find out.
roads all my life. I didn't got nothing to do with it.
I'm just relating what the engineer.
Well, they told me.
I know that engineer, he knows how to do it, but it don't have nothing to do with that.
That's what I'm trying to find, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, it don't have nothing to do with acquiring the right of way. We got to acquire the right of way for all those roads under there, whatever you do to the bridge.
Right, he was just saying I guess the construction of the walls versus buying some certain land was.
We save
was
some money
more.
by getting rid of the walls.
Right, that's
And
what
it
he's
don't
saying, it's
have
$3 million
anything to do
cheaper to
with
not put the walls.
acquiring the right of way.
Okay,
Because the walls at the bridge were like 30 feet tall.
Yeah.
He didn't say how thick, but I know they were 30 feet tall.
Right. Okay.
So,
But he's saying that he's not gonna be ready until, what you saying?
April
26.
26th.
It's for it'll even bid.
And that's before we can even bid it out.
Another year and
Another year and a half.
4.5, another year and a half.
It's not quite a year and a half. And it may go a little faster, that's just their projection.
did
How
you say
fa- how fast
you
they
emailed
want their
that
money?
stuff to us? Because I didn't see it in my email.
That was last week, it'll be ESA Phase 1, I think is how it's listed, but I can resend it,
Yeah.
make sure.
Okay.
Was it in the draft, was it with that stuff, the draft agenda?
No,
Okay.
this was something totally separate.
I don't think
Yeah,
I,
this
I mean,
is-
I'll look back again, but I don't think I got
Yeah,
it.
I don't mind resending,
Okay,
because stuff like that gets lost
yeah.
very quickly.
All right, we have any more managers comment?
Mr. Chairman, one other thing, Melinda, on the State Street, I know you say they're gonna, right now they're projecting to let it on, what was that?
September of this year.
And how long do they think it's gonna take to complete that project?
They say once they start construction,
Right.
that I don't know.
I thought it was
I thought they
about
said-
3 years.
I thought they said 3 years when they
Yeah,
started
something
talking
like
about it. It's gonna be 3 years for completion.
'Cause
We're
this-
gonna have a bunch of deadlocks in Ware County when both bridges being built at the same time.
Well, this is not gonna be until next year then.
Yeah, but the other one's gonna take 3 years.
I don't think it'll take 3 years to build
That's what they said.
it.
We can find out.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if we got, just a minute, we have that transportation plan being designed or being drafted and prepared. If I can ask Dustin to come up in just about 2 minutes to show you and show the audience and the citizens there's a online where the citizens can participate in the plan preparation by putting in their concerns, and it'll map it out and send the report right to the engineer's office.
On the comprehensive?
On the comprehensive transportation plan, yes, sir.
All right, so
Okay.
we have a link that's on the front page of the website. If you go to warecountyga.gov, it's a banner. It'll say Ware County Transportation Survey. You got the link right there. It'll take you to it, or the press release, I should say. And that tells you about how to use it. And you just click on the button right there. Pulls up a form. You can do this on the phone, or you can do it at a computer. Either way, both work. You just fill it out. You got some survey questions here. You just put your thoughts in here. If there's something that wasn't listed, I apologize for the little black boxes that are popping up. That's issue with the mapping company there, or we're working on that. But it'll work normally. So anyways, you basically go in. There's a little draw tool right here. You can draw some area that there's an issue at. We would recommend you zoom in to a particular area. That way you have a little bit better, tighter view of where the issue might be, whether it's traffic or railroads or whatever the case might be. Once you do that, you just click submit. It pops it into the database. And we're able to keep track of the stuff that's being sent in. Currently, some folks, they've gone a little overboard on theirs, drawn some very large circles, but for the most part, people are keeping their stuff centered around Waycross. We've got charts set up that show the response as far as percentages of the answers. They're able to download we're able to, and Atlas is able to download copies of the surveys, and we're able to keep track of how many surveys have been received so far.
How many have you got so far?
So far 20. I mean, we haven't really announced it, so I mean,
I
other
didn't know
than
if it
just
was
being posted. So.
We did last Friday.
Yeah.
It's been announced this last.
Well, I meant like as far as like
Here
the
in the
commission. Is what I meant. Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a number hiding over there or something.
No, this is just something, an internal thing where we can keep track of what's going on with it. Hopefully that number will be going up soon. We encourage the general public to post or submit their responses for the survey and
Get involved.
help us get some
Ideas.
yeah. So, all right,
Thank
Okay.
you, Mr. Dustin.
no problem.
Thank you, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's all.
Any more? Got a commission comment? Anybody got any?
10 minutes.
Don't I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Meeting adjourned. Come back in
Yeah.
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Shoot, I'm ready.
7:30.
Wait here.
I think you're
I'm
back
picking
together.
on you, James. I'm
You
picking.
hear me? I think
This is
Tim
our
back
regular meeting.
He said, come on.
Lucas, where you at?
together.
Yeah.
Mr. Lucas. He didn't go home, did he?
Is he in the
I
room
think he's
next
in that
to
room over there, was.
Huh?
Thought he was over there just a minute ago.
me? Oh, yeah. You're just top liver today, aren't you?
Yeah,
Text. I got the text.
Where's he at? I don't know where he's at. We start without him, I guess.
Mr. Chairman, you got a quorum.
We got a quorum.
Yeah, let's go.
He'll be here in a minute.
Don't you see him back? Huh?
Yes.
Let's go ahead and start with that. We've, did a roll call, we did a, what we do? Let's do a roll call. Let me find the roll call. Mr. Burris,
Present.
Mr. Tindall,
Present.
Mr. Lucas, Mr. Cox,
Here.
Chair's here, okay. We have a, excuse me, we have a guest speaker, Mr. Chris Caldwell. Mr. Chris Caldwell, is he here?
He's right there.
Yeah, would you come up, Mr. Chris? Okay.
You ready?
Yes, sir. Bring it on.
I'll do better without writing it down, but I wrote this down for sake of time. Try to keep y'all not too mad at me. Okay. First of all, my name is Chris Cardwell, Cardwell. My legal address is 4153 Pinecrest Road. My driveway is 1313 Meadowbrook Lane Road, Meadowbrook Road. It's all the same piece of property. Okay? Bear with me, I'm gonna fight on my breath right now. Thank you for letting me be here, Mr. Chairman. And I advise, all my comments as per the quorum are going to the chairman. If anybody has anything to say to me, they need to talk to the chairman. They don't need to talk to me because I won't respond to them. I remember coming up here, I've always came up here since the 70s. Me and Wayne Minshew used to come here. If any of y'all know Wayne Minshew, we used to do our homework. And nobody liked us back then. So I remember coming up here and telling y'all years ago that I'm 1.5 years drug-free. And I'm here to, in other meetings through the years, I've told you how many years I've been drug-free. And today, December the 7th, 2024, I'm 13 years drug-free. Sorry about the emotions, but that's a very emotional thing. Y'all don't know the battle I battled. By the grace of God go I. Now, the last time I was here, Mr. Chairman, some man jumped up out of the audience and hollered at me for some reason. I don't know why he did. He said that I went and said y'all was voting on some zoning somewhere. And he said, since I didn't live in that area, I didn't have no opinion on that. And I hope that ain't the same way y'all think. And I hope you please make sure that nobody, that man's here in his building again right now. And if he hollers at me for any reason,
I'm just gonna get up and leave, and then we'll deal with it legally. He didn't have to holler at me, he was way out of line. I came on here January the 6th, paid my back taxes. I was behind a little bit, so I paid them up. I'm up to zero, but I think the 15th we owe some more, huh? So that's fine. But I paid them up to zero. I seen all the cars outside January the 6th, and I went, whoa, what's going on? Am I missing something? So I came up here, and I went to ask somebody that works in here. I said, what's going on? And the response I got was, oh, they're just having a development authority meeting. This was Monday. I think y'all was having a spirited meeting Monday, and I understand y'all had one New Year's Eve. You know, all that information I got's on the newspaper, when I can find all about it if I want to. But I was told by somebody, now why would they tell me that it was a development authority going in here? My response was, I doubt that, because I didn't see it in the newspaper. You know, Official Code of Georgia, whatever it is, 50 something, I can take quote it off if y'all want me to. You gotta use the newspaper, and the only way it can be changed, that's voted on, it's not a local vote. You know what I mean? And then I was told, after I said I doubted that, said they don't use the newspaper anymore, they do it on the internet. Another bladed or embladed lie. Or well, I ain't gonna call it lie, that's such a strong word. We're gonna call that just whatever y'all wanna call it. So I was told at the Development Authority meeting, then I was told that y'all don't use the newspaper anymore. I understand y'all had a big discussion about that in the newspaper. About one commissioner said that he gonna write 2 letters, and I don't know who it was, and he gonna get it changed. But I think it has to go through the state, if I'm not mistaken. Wait just a second, make sure I get it. And I was told, I said that Official Code of Georgia annotated law said the paper. And then I also said to this person, whatever you say, because, you know, I know my word don't count. So I left. Went on, that was January 6th. Give me a second here, take just a minute, I'm trying to stay within my 5 minutes. I left, didn't go to the meeting. I left and I didn't go to the meeting. If I didn't know what y'all meeting on, you know I'd been there. I understand it was good. I came back up here this week, Monday, go back to the tax office, make sure I had to release the liens off my property. You know, y'all send the notices out to lien them, but y'all don't send the notice out to release the liens. I think y'all ought to check into that, it give people a peace of mind. But you come over here and request it, you can get it. That new nice lady down there, beautiful smile, said she took my name and address, and the stuff was transferred to her. She'd see that I get a copy in the mail. And I told her, let me know, and I'll pick it up and I'll pay for anything. I pay my taxes, I want to release the liens. Came up by here this week, tax paper in the meeting was stole by the person. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, so when I came up here by that, I decided I wanted to meet our new county manager. And I was going to congratulate him. I know him from the past, back when I had dog trouble. And I want to congratulate him. I think he's a good man. I don't know what y'all think about it. But I was told he wasn't officially working to the 20th. I don't know nothing about that. And I wrote this real quick. Y'all bear with me. So, when I went and asked for it, I was told, well, he's downstairs. So I went downstairs. Oh, he's upstairs. We don't know where he's at. I thought that was highly, that wasn't appropriate. You know what I'm saying? And then he's at lunch. And I said, well, listen, it's hard for me to get around nowadays and get to town. Would you just call him and tell him that I'm here and I'll sit around and wait? You know, it was 1 o'clock, and he was coming back for lunch. No, I ain't calling him. Now, that's disrespectful for your people up here to talk to people like that. If they talk to me like that, big old boy like me, they gonna talk to everybody like that. You know what I mean? I'll get to have my tree fit. I'm trying, y'all be patient.
Mr. Cardwell, I don't want to rush you, and I don't want to be rude, but at the same time, we've got an agenda we've got to get to, so you got about one more minute, sir.
I understand that, and
Thank
then
you.
I'll talk till you tell me to leave.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
sir. Just about one more
Did
minute.
y'all go over time in y'all's last minute meeting?
We need to
You
get
went
on with our
over time,
meeting.
so if you
Yeah.
go over time a minute or two, then it'll be okay.
I don't think
Let
it's
me-
gonna be okay. About 1 minute, 1 minute. Go ahead,
No,
go ahead,
ma'am,
1
I'm
minute.
gonna talk till the chairman tells me to leave.
Okay, thank you.
Then the calling years, okay, I'm gonna read it, but it ain't gonna make no sense. I asked him to call on it because this is the only time I could get here. I waited, wanted to congratulate the manager. I told him, while he was there, I met him, I told him the trick is to just be there. Just be there. You ain't got to know everything, just be there. And you know what he told me? He said, that he gave the best advice of all. He said that the government works for the people. See, to me, we've all forgotten that in the past. Give me a second, 30 seconds, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
You took about 10 seconds of my time, so give me
Fair
10, okay? All right. All right. Wait a minute. You know, I had an opportunity to talk to some officials in a couple of other counties past week or two for whatever my business is, and they laugh at y'all. And one of them said, oh, they just fight over the crumbs over there. Not making no derogatory anything. This is other counties close to y'all. Y'all fight over the crumbs and they laugh at y'all. So I just
Chris,
I'm gonna hush. Let me go.
your
I've got about
time's out
15
now.
seconds.
Your time.
Let me finish.
We-
I had the
we don't
opportunity,
need no
I'm sorry
more.
about that. If I made anything out of line to y'all, then, do the legal process and bring it on. Okay, that's the 5 seconds. Just a second, I got about one more little line right here. And, everyone said that you could be so much more. Well, I mean, y'all could be the Atlanta of the South. They wasn't talking bad about it, they was trying to, y'all could be so much more. Okay, here we go. I won't bother y'all again. I ain't coming up here again. All right? So don't worry about it, Mr. Chairman. No need for response. I got, Constitution says I got a right to redress my grievance to speak, but if y'all don't want me to, tell me not to. Sounds like that's what y'all telling me. My words don't, here's the last paragraph. My words don't mean anything, I know, because everybody, the public, the people out there, not the government, knows that there's two governments. And I'm not talking about Democrats or Republicans. I'm talking about the government for the haves and the government for the have-nots. We know who gets the service. Thank you, sir. If I broke the law,
Thank you, Chris.
then y'all, call the sheriff, okay? Y'all have a good day.
Thank
I'm out sitting here the rest of the meeting.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now we have,
Excuse me, what are you like, lawyers or these people? Is that what it is? Okay, I wonder why you speak. I know that, I just want to hear you say it.
thank you, Chris. Okay, we have, Employee of the Month. Yeah, Ms. Teresa, would you come up, please?
Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, Teresa.
All that good stuff.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you.
First, I want to say personally, welcome to our new additions, Commissioner Cox and Commissioner Tyndall, and soon-to-be Manager Schubert. Congratulations to you all, and I'm excited to be working with you all. I'm going to get in and I'm going to get out the door. So we'd like to recognize Mr. Zachary Harris of the IT Department as Employee of the Month for January 2025. And we had some stiff competition. We had 4, which doesn't sound like a huge number, but it's a huge number for as far as nominations. We have 4 nominations. I never have that many in 1 month. So he fought hard for this. So Zach started in February 2023 and has been doing a phenomenal job as an IT specialist. He was nominated by Jonathan Daniel, stating the following. Zach Harris has continuously performed an outstanding job as an IT specialist in the IT department. His hard work and dedication have impacted Ware County EMA and contributed positively to assisting staff in resolving problems quickly and effectively. The department is grateful for your motivational teamwork, which is instrumental in helping meet support service expectations. Zach always has a can-do attitude and never hesitates to get the job done in a timely manner. And we agree. So if you would all help me congratulate Zach as our employee.
All right, Zach.
I learned something this week. I'm gonna count on 3 of them, ask you that. Y'all blink on 1 and 2. And mark. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Zach,
Congratulations.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, John.
Logan said, appreciate that.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay, we have commissioners' appointments for the calendar year. Hey, we need a vice chairman for the Ware County Board of Commissioners.
Yeah,
Who do y'all pick?
I was picked by my predecessor. He gave his vice chair to me, so I think it's fit for me to pick the next vice chair.
Okay.
And I think Mr. Berry would be a good
How
vice
about
chair.
Mr. Burris? He might be better.
Would you
Well, I'll
accept-
second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second for Mr. Cox to be vice chair. Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Cox, you the vice chair.
Okay.
And it don't come with a raise.
Oh, don't.
No,
It's more
Mr. Burris would have been
responsibility.
better.
Okay, you'll be ex officio member to the Waycross Ware County Library Board. Okay,
Chairman, I would like to offer a motion that we appoint Commissioner Lucas. He's been working over there and
keep him
hopefully
on.
continue on with this project with the building and expansion over there. And,
I humbly accept
Okay,
Commissioner Burris.
And I'll second that nomination.
I got a motion and a second for Mr. Lucas as the Library Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Look like you want it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll go to agenda items. Ordinance for 2025-3 to decrease maximum speed limit on the Fulford Road. Now, we heard that motion. They want to put stop signs, reduce the speed, and we want
Solar red lights.
solar lights on the stop sign.
Red.
Red solar, okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept ordinance 2025-03 to decrease maximum speed limit on Fulford Road, put stop signs up where needed, and put the solar flashing red lights up with them.
I'll second
Okay.
that motion.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? If not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burson?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Resolution B for 2025-04 selection of the CDBG engineer. I believe statewide has been picked. Is,
That's
I
correct.
agree.
Yes, sir.
Statewide.
hear a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt resolution 2025-04 selection of CDBG engineer being statewide. We got the high score when scored by an independent party.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Now, he just for that CDB, just that area
Just for
out there.
that project,
If
that
it-
one project, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. The resolution of 2025-05, reactivation of Recreation Board and appointment of board members.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we adopt resolution 2025-05 to reactivate the Recreation Board and appointment of board members.
How many board members do we need? Some new ones?
No, so
they're-
it's
they're
all
all-
Just
seven, they're
just
all
the
on
one
there.
that's already there?
Yeah,
Yes, sir, they're listed on that resolution, all
They
seven.
already on there.
I think 7 or 8 of them, I believe there.
Okay, I got a second on that.
Second.
Got a second. All right, any discussion on it? All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, appointment for the Waycross Ware Development Authority.
Mr. Chair, I move that we make the appointment for the Waycross Ware County Development Authority. I believe Mr. Jason nominated Daniel Morris,
Right.
and I would accept his
Okay.
position there.
And I'll
Got
second.
a motion, got a second? Okay. Any discussion on it?
So just to clarify, he's gonna be filling the vacated seat of, current board member. And
Right.
And also Daniel Morris has served on the board in the past, and from what I understand, he did a good job then.
Did a great job.
And, he just had to sit out for one year, and so now he's qualified to be back on it, and, I think he's gonna be an asset to the board.
Yes, sir.
As we move forward.
Okay.
And this term he's filling in on will not expire until December 31, 2027, and he will sit on the board as of February 1, is how they have it.
And then if he gets reappointed, he'll go for a
Then
5-year
then
term.
they would, their terms,
Their terms are 3, I think.
3
Are
or
they 3?
4, I think they're 3. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Any more discussion?
No, sir.
All right, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Appointment for the Downtown Waycross Development Authority.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we appoint Commissioner John Tyndall to the Downtown Waycross Development Authority.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Now, is any discussion on it?
I
I'll
think he'll be a
accept the
big,
nomination.
You accept it?
Mr. Tyndall will be a
Okay.
big asset there. He, runs his own business, and it's a thriving business, and
Okay,
a good Christian fellow.
Thank you.
all right. Let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? He don't want to vote for himself.
Probably shouldn't.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. The rezoning request of intersection of Dorothy Street and East Blackshear Avenue.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a motion that we deny the rezoning request at the intersection of Dorothy Street and East Blackshear Avenue.
I hear a second.
Mr. Chairman, I believe procedurally that motion will die for lack of a second. So now, the floor is open again if there's another motion that would like to be made.
Mr. Chairman, I make a move that we accept the rezoning request at the intersection of Dorothy Street and East Blackshear Avenue.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. Okay, is there any discussion?
And Mr. Chairman, just under discussion, it is in the minutes of previous meetings, but I just want to note for the minutes that Commissioner Lucas has chosen to abstain from both the discussion and the vote, although he does not have a technical conflict under the Conflict of Interest Act because he does not own the property that's under rezoning. Under other considerations, since he owns the property directly adjoining this property, he has chosen to declare a conflict and not participate in this vote. So I just want to make sure that that was on the minutes. And Commissioner Lucas, if you don't mind, will you just, in the affirmative, state that what I've stated is correct so that we can put that in our minutes?
Yes, ma'am, that's accurate and correct.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So we've got a motion and a second on
We
the
got a
floor.
motion and a second. Any discussion on it? If not, let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
No.
Mr. Tindall?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Chair gonna vote yes. Okay. Approved for 2025 Georgia DOT LMIG application.
We're gonna discuss it, or we're just gonna move to?
Well, we've had the list, we got that list, that list that he gave us.
That John come,
Yeah,
Commissioner Tindall?
You wanna make
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2025 Georgia Department of Transportation LMIG application as Commissioner John
let's see,
Tindall
which one is it? This,
brought up.
make sure we all on the same page. Where's that list at?
So,
John, you had that list with
Yes,
the two, you got it there, Mr. Burris?
yes.
So we got a
Here it is.
motion here.
He got a
I made a
motion to take, yeah, right here.
Accept
I'll second the motion.
LMIG 22, are we all on the same one now?
Right.
It's the
Existing
2025.
dirt road paving,
And we added Baker to that,
Tentatively, but I think.
tentatively.
yeah,
what-
you added a little Baker to it, that's right, okay.
So, Mr. Chair, just to be clear, this is a list that was put on a 2022 LMIG list.
Right.
And these were just roads that didn't make the cut based on budget. And so we're going back and gonna kind of, trying to finish up a plan that was started for the 2022 LMIG.
Right.
And then what it's gonna do is actually gonna take a whole area and eliminate the need for the road grader to come in there. And so it'll have all those roads taken care of in certain areas. And so I think that is a good plan that we move forward on with the LMIG, is that we can do some, light resurfacing or surface treatments and, do things like that. So, anyway, so yes,
Okay. All right.
So you said.
Everybody on the same page now, this
second.
list of roads that
Yes,
we
I
have
second.
here, start off California, Alabama, Illinois, Columbia, all that, those, y'all know what we got.
Where's that area located?
South side,
It-
right off of Brunel Street,
well, and there's some areas over off of,
Some in Emerson.
over around.
some in Emerson Park.
Yes, some of them that are close to the, Ware Middle School, over in that kind of area.
Yeah.
There's some short little roads over there. There's some of the area out in, I think it's Emerson Park area. And, so it kind of scattered, but it's just certain areas that,
Need hit and miss.
just need hit and miss. And these are 300, 400, 500 foot long sections.
Two.
I believe the longest one in that list is 1,000
know.
feet. And so, but also I would like to add that on that list, we're also gonna be adding in whatever money we have left over is to do, spot treatments or patches in certain roads as we see.
Jim Mixon Road and the
And
Camp
the
Branch Road, I believe.
Camp
it is.
Branch, yeah, that was one of the
there's a
main
couple
ones.
places down there, and if
Yeah,
money wants us to do it.
right.
we'll-
I'm glad you said that, Mr. Chairman, because I know these, like I said, this was the 2022, so I don't know what the cost will be now versus whenever this was put out, so I wanna make sure we cover ourselves so that we won't say we're gonna do all these roads, because it may be that we can't do all of them.
Okay.
Right, well, and I think that's probably what happened last time, is that they were on the list and then costs got over the amount of money we had. But then my suggestion is this, guys, is that what we would do is that we go down this list as far as we can go, and take care of everything we can take care of, and if it doesn't hit the budget, then the next time we get LMIG, we come in here and
Pick it
finish
up
that
where we
list.
left off, yeah.
Because if we got a plan and we stick to it, we can actually get somewhere,
Couldn't agree with you more.
so.
Right.
Okay. Manager, you got that? What we're gonna do now? Okay. All right. Let's vote on it. Hey, we had a motion there.
Motion and second.
Had a
Commissioner
second.
Tindall seconded.
Okay, let's, vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall? Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay. Now, on the manager's comment. Got any-
got
H.
H, discussion on the, opting in or opting out.
With the
Hold
floating
on, I ain't
base.
got that.
You ain't got H?
That's on the,
Let me see. Hold on.
it's the new minutes.
Yeah, discussion of opting in or opting out on the floating base homestead exemption in the HB 581.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
I would like to make a motion that we begin the process of the necessary advertisements and public hearings required prior to taking a vote on this opt-out, of the floating-based homestead exemption outlined in House Bill 581.
Okay.
I'll second that. Get some input from the citizens and let them be a part of it.
Okay, I got a motion and a second on that. Has anybody got any discussion on it?
Well, Mr. Chairman, under discussion, the only thing I would say is that to make sure we're real clear on this motion is being made with the understanding that the Department of Revenue and ACCG have represented that Ware County local-based homestead exemption would be sufficient for the purpose of qualifying Ware County and the city of Waycross to be put before the voters the question of an additional penny known as floss.
Okay. So we can, okay, I'm glad you put that in there, Mr. Lynn.
All right, Chairman, the attorney had emailed with, or discussed with, tax appraiser's office about doing the public hearings, and what they kind of came up with like a tentative schedule for the hearings, and so I just need to check with you guys to make sure, and this would be on Thursdays, or let Jennifer explain.
We just have to fit 3 public hearings in, and then we've got to have a vote. So if we want to vote, and then we have to do all of that before March 1st. So if we want to vote at the second regularly scheduled meeting in February, then we need to fit, which is February 24th, we need to fit 3 public hearings in prior to that date. We have to advertise a week ahead of each of those public hearings. So the paper only comes out here once a week on Wednesdays. If we put it in, if we're ready for next week, then the schedule that we came up with was to advertise a week ahead and then have your public hearings on Thursday, January 30th, Thursday, February 6th, and Thursday, February 13th, with then the final vote being February the 24th. Now, you all understand this is the process, and so this does not necessarily mean that on February 24th, there's a guaranteed vote to opt out, right? It is still up to you all. This is just the process that if you choose to opt out, you must go through this process to even have that choice.
Okay.
And also, I believe too, Mr. Chairman, if I may, one of those meetings has to be scheduled between, 6 and 7 o'clock?
6 and 7 at night, that's right.
One of them has to be at night, okay, between 6 and 7.
So we'll just defer to, the
Can you get us-
administration to work with you all and decide what's best for your schedules, if there's a night that works better, but.
Dinner will
Would
be
you
waiting.
schedule us a list, manager, please, and, give it to us,
Yeah, and y'all decide.
and we'll work around it.
Are y'all good with Thursdays, or is there a day of week that's better?
That's good for me.
That's good.
I just checked all the dates on my calendar, and that's fine, those dates are fine with me.
All right, if
I'll
they're
have
good
a-
with y'all, we'll go with those, and we'll figure out which one would need to be between 6 and 7.
I'll have an answer in the morning. I gotta check the calendar.
Okay, and I'm sure the chairman will provide dinner that night for us.
Yes,
Chairman, provide dinner.
I do.
Yeah, provide dinner. T-bones with nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he
As
just
long as some of
said.
those meetings go, y'all better
When are we
provide
gonna
some
have
food, I'm gonna pass out next
I
time.
had promised
I mean,
last
our
time we have a
retreat.
long one that I'll have snacks.
That's a good question. Probably usually in February.
When is our retreat set up for?
February.
You know?
It would be, we don't have the date set, that's something James and I are working on, but it's usually around the 28th or 9th, and we were looking the other day. Could be like the 29th, 30th, that last week of February usually, but if we need to do the first week of March, we could. That's gonna kinda depend on everybody's
Think with
schedule
all
as
these
well.
meetings we have, maybe
February
like
don't have
first
30
week of
days.
March or something like that.
29.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at January, sorry. 26th, 27th, 28th is the end of that week, sorry. So it would either be the
Wednesday or
same
Thursday.
day, same week as the 24th, or we could do it the first week of March. I mean, it's not set
First
in
week of
stone that
March,
it
right,
has to be the last week of
Like be in
February.
March. That way we'll know all about this opt-in, opt-out stuff and
Right.
all
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, you can be off of that, then you can talk about other stuff.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Anything else?
Did we fill all of our positions? Because I think we had one left that we could put Commissioner Burst in.
No,
well, you haven't voted on this
No,
yet.
we put one out there.
Look
We
at
put one on the
that.
rec board, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, we got it.
Got all that done.
Yeah,
We
John
got everything.
Smith, I believe his name, yeah.
Are y'all gonna vote on it?
Okay.
Vote on what?
Anything else?
You made a motion, are you gonna vote?
We got to vote
Oh,
on
yeah,
that.
I made the motion and Commissioner Tindall seconded it, so we need to vote on that.
And that was on what now?
On,
Up and out.
on option,
Up and
this,
out.
so this is to make this.
Mr. Burris made it,
What you
and
I made the
just did,
motion.
Commissioner
You
Burris
seconded
made the
it.
motion.
I made the
Mr.
motion on
Burris
it.
made the motion,
and you seconded.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
took
we
it
went
back.
to
You were
discussion
thinking of the
phase.
one before.
and we've been in discussion on it, right, done got out of the line.
Now we got to vote.
Yeah, we need to vote on it.
So, now let's vote on it. Mr. Burris?
Aye.
Mr. Tindall?
Aye.
Mr. Lucas?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Now, you gonna have the,
I'll give y'all the
hearings
schedule,
lined up and let us get it.
because I'll have to go and make sure that the first one, it will have to be turned in tomorrow to be advertised next week in time for the 30th.
Yeah. Well, don't give me too much to do, so
No, you gotta be cooking supper one
I
of those
get
nights.
confused.
If we turn it in tomorrow, for it to be next Wednesday.
Okay.
If you got it in by, on Friday, it'll be in Wednesday.
Manager comment?
Right. I was gonna ask if Jonathan would come up here and give us a quick, all these, about the weather, all the rumors floating about, 6 feet of snow or whatever they're saying.
Huh?
Not really, I'm being sarcastic.
We just started.
It'll be
something.
cold
Yeah.
next week.
Is it?
No, they're expecting wintry precipitation, and I know it's a little early to tell, but we need to let people know to go ahead and be prepared.
Yeah, the rumors are out there, because everybody wants to see a little snow. They didn't get enough of it when they went to North Georgia last year. But, we are looking for a little bit of, Arctic blast coming our way next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, with the, lows in the,
It's in the 20s.
and some, highs, I think, on Tuesday and Wednesday, the highs like 39. So it's gonna be very cold those few days, with wind chill, gonna put it in the teens. So, we are, planning, we're having a meeting tomorrow. Our staff is meeting to discuss, what, if anything, that we should do for next week. And, we'll be reporting to the folks, as that decision is made. But as far as the snow, I don't think we'll get any snow. Might see some flurries, but as far as any accumulation, no. There could be some ice accumulation from the rain, so that's something that we would look to see if that happens for us. So anyhow, everybody, the rumors have been out there. I had a bunch of calls yesterday. What about all this snow we get? But that's just me. That's the way I see it from what I'm being told through our weather people. But I've been wrong before. That's kind of where we're at. But we'll look at it tomorrow. We know Monday's a holiday, and so we'll try to be making some decisions before get too far in the week to see what we need to do for our local folks. But for our citizens, yeah, you need to make sure you got your people covered, your pets covered, your plants covered, and
Yeah.
so those few days are going to be extremely cold, colder than what we've had in the past. So we want people to be prepared for that. I left out the other piece of pipe.
Drift on the
Cover your pipe.
Cover the drift.
And I would say if there is ice on the roads, don't be out where you don't have to be.
Right.
Drive carefully and go ahead and get your supplies this weekend,
Ahead, yeah.
this weekend.
Because you wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
It don't happen.
Any questions?
What's your prediction? How cold's it gonna get?
How cold it's going to be?
What's your prediction?
He's not a meteorologist.
I think it's going to be, at nighttime, it's going to be in the high 20s. Daytime,
High 30s?
high 30s, might get 40, 41, but, with the rain and the cloudiness, it's not going to be much sunshine to warm up everything, so.
So it's your recommendation you stay at home, right?
Work if you got.
Yeah, if it's, road conditions turn to ice, we definitely don't want people out there on the road.
Exactly.
That's gonna overtax our public safety people.
Right.
That's gonna be a
Yes, sir. Thank you for that, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
y'all.
And,
That's good weather, the well pouring in.
Mr. Chair, I would like to say something, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I tried to say it a little earlier, but I would like to have at least 15, 20 seconds, recognize the firefighters, the first responders, all the people that's working the big fires over in California. I watched a little bit of that stuff on television last night, and it brought back some memories of our fire that we had here in 2007, which I had the pleasure of working and did not enjoy it. So if y'all don't mind, I would like to stand in reverence of them. I know we had some firefighters that lost their life, a couple of first responders lost their life. And I believe the count is over 20 now of people, pedestrians, that lived in there has lost their life.
24, I believe.
24? I knew it had went over 20. So I'd like to just have a minute, you know, just half a minute or whatever, silence, everybody stand up, or however y'all do it. Thank you, Lord. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, any more?
I just would like to say I'm very happy to see Mr. Schubert coming on board. This has been an overwhelming, exhausting, and several other adjectives past few weeks. Trying to do 2 or 3 jobs. I know Melissa and I have been working about 4 or 5 jobs between us.
About 4 months, hasn't it been?
Well, it seems like about 6 or 8. But anyway, he and I have been working on a few things together, and I mean, we've talked about it. He's got good ideas, and I've told him, I mean, we'll work as a team, work in tandem for a while till he's ready to kind of do it all by himself. And hopefully I didn't do too bad. I mean, we did the best we could with what we had.
You done great.
But,
Awesome job.
But,
All in all, I'm telling you, you were absolutely wonderful. You stepped up, Linda, and I know that he's got a good teacher.
I don't know what I can teach him, but I'll just say when it happens, you do what you can. You just have to step forward and do it. It's like swimming through mud at times, but I'm excited. I mean, it's like I feel like it's gonna be a big relief to me because I've got stuff that's just stacking on the side, and I've had more clerk duties that have come for the first of the year that it's really been trying to balance between that and getting stuff for the meetings. But anyway, I'm excited. We'll work together and get everything going like it needs to be.
Well, I will
So,
say, from where I'm sitting, the 4 smartest people in this building sitting at that table right there.
3 of them might be. I don't know about the 4th one here, but you know, I'm not gonna take that. I know I'm not.
I appreciate what every one of y'all do. I know y'all don't get told that a lot, but I definitely appreciate everything every one of y'all do. And I think James is gonna be absolutely great at this position once he gets it figured out and understanding. And he knows what's required of him. And I know you're gonna let him in on what you've learned, and y'all gonna be a good group, all 3 of y'all.
Yeah, we'll be learning together.
And
but
we'll
yeah,
let
do it.
Jennifer continue to come across the border, even though Ware County beats coffee all the time, or Tifton all the time, but we're gonna let her keep coming across the line.
Yeah.
It's Tifton, right? Tifton.
That's right.
Okay. Any more?
Mr. Chairman, I just want, if it's commissioner comments time?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to say, so I'm going to be just making an announcement that myself and 2 close friends of mine, they're 2 men from here in Ware County, 3 of us are heading out on Saturday morning bright and early, and we're going to be going down to Honduras to check out I'm in the water industry, cleaning up water, providing safe water for people. So we're going to go down and look at some projects that we can take on and do some water reclamation projects. One of the guys that's going with us, he does seamless gutters, and so he's going to try to do some gutter work. Maybe we can reclaim some rainwater so that way they can have safe drinking water in those areas. You know, I've been in the water industry, water operations for over 30 years now, and I can tell you that, you know, without clean water, you can't have good health. Anytime that places provide good, clean, safe drinking water, the health of the whole region goes up.
Yep.
And I've traveled pretty much all over the world. I've been in Southeast Asia, I've been South America, I've been in Russia, all over the place. And a lot of these places don't have regulations. And I know sometimes we get tired of government regulations and the bureaucracy and all this. But every time I look at it, I come back and I talk about the intent of the law that that provides us with clean drinking water, that was established in 1972, the Clean Water Act. That was the cornerstone of where we're at today. And so with that act, we do have a lot of regulations. We do have a lot of testing that we have to do, but it provides safe drinking water for all of us. And every 9 years, that Clean Water Act gets revised. And so we're going to see some new things come up from it, and probably have to talk about, there's treatment processes that are having to come up, PFAS with these forever chemicals, things like that is a hot ticket item. But for right now, me and my buddies are going to go down. Rodney Thrift is one of them, and Chad Deal is another one. That three of us are heading out Saturday morning, and we're going to be going for the week. So anybody out there need to get a hold of me, I'll be going for the week. So just, call me, you leave a message or something like that, and I'll get back with you whenever I get back. So anyway.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
Represent us well down there.
All right, any more commission?
I was wanting to ask someone a project that we had going on my mind. I'm getting old, I can't remember. But it was a project we had going on. I wanted to get an update on it. How many projects we got out here, Dustin? Help me refresh my memory. How many projects we got going on?
You talking about transportation or?
Just all of them. What about the
Highway?
the playground that we had
In Bickley?
Oh, the recreation.
in Bickley?
Bickley.
Have they put that up yet?
It's fixing to be done.
Just headed that away.
It's headed that way?
Headed that away.
Okay.
Good on that.
Any more?
There was another one I had, but I can't remember. I'm getting old like you.
Emails.
Yes.
Like me.
All right. I think of it, I'll write it down next meeting.
Okay. If there's no more, I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Yes, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank y'all.